Welcome, friends and listeners. We're your hosts, Spongy Kitten, Peppy Pony, and the Yamski. And you're listening to the Get Gooder podcast, the only podcast where we learn you how to get more gooder. Wow, what happened?
Shh, we got this. Just keep going. Just keep talking.
No, we'll keep riding.
Well, it's you. You got to finish the intro.
That's true. And today we're going to be...
Yeah, like what are you editing? What are you doing?
We're doing Camera Editor 3.0 because we thought this was fixed before we came in here.
Yeah.
What did you think? What are we doing?
We fixed it. We're good. Nothing.
We played camera setup
what was
simulator
wrong?
again for an hour and a half before this.
The corner of your forehead.
We're starting over. Technical difficulty. No, we're doing the intro again.
Okay.
No, shut the fuck up. We're doing the intro again. You ready, Max?
We set it to pre-screen and we'll be
Go to pre-screen.
All right,
Go to
guys. Thanks
pre-screen.
for sticking with us.
Do the iCarly intro.
Here we go again.
Welcome, friends and listeners. We're your hosts, Spongy Kitten.
Yes, sir.
Baby Pony, that's me. Baby Pony's me. Yeah. The Yamski.
Yeah.
And you're listening to the Get Gooder podcast, the only podcast where we learn you how to get more gooder.
Exactly. Just kidding. And in today's episode, it's a two-parter. We're going to run an intermission in between. You'll see what happens, and you'll enjoy it because you have to watch anyways.
Yeah, you have to.
We actually lock your screen as soon as you click on this. That's one of the things we added into our live stream.
Didn't know.
Yeah. Team Viewer is actually downloaded already on yours, and you can't move it.
You done for?
Today we got two-part episode in one. Never seen it before. We're talking about content creators / influencers, and then in the second part, we're talking about we're doing another game generator like we did when we did it. And if you don't know what game generator is, you'll learn it when we start the second episode. I'm not going to go through exactly how it works. And this one, it's going to be way more off the top of the head.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We got enough notes.
We got enough notes.
We definitely got enough.
Plenty of notes. So, here we are.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about these creators that are content.
All right. Look.
Wait, hold on. Let's just not read based off of what we have.
No.
Let's read off
Like
of
I said,
our
these are notes.
personable.
It's
ones
a
we watch the
hashtag roundtable discussion.
Yep.
I'll give one.
On a square table.
Yam gives one. You give one. I give one. Yam gives one. Tommy gives one.
It's a good thing we're on our rhombus.
Well, who was your first content
That's what I'm
creator
saying.
you watched?
That's what I'm saying.
First?
All right, so look, we're gonna be talking about OG content creators, and then we're gonna shift it to the newer ones. Now, I'm gonna give a disclaimer right now. It's very difficult to discuss the new age content creators because there's content for fucking everything. Everyone considers himself an influencer and a content creator. No. We're just gonna stick with influences in gaming and some just in the internet community. As far as just influencing social media as well. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about the bigger ones in the new age that everybody already fucking knows. But we're gonna discuss the OGs, the guys who really were doing this before anybody else was.
We got a message saying we're echoing. Well, that's not good, but we'll figure it out.
What do you mean echoing?
I don't know. How do you explain echoing?
Well, let's listen to the audio.
Pull up the audio. Tommy! Pull up the echo.
Tommy, pull up the audio. Why are we echoing?
Pull up the audio.
How is it not fixed already, Tommy? What are we doing?
Do you think we're coming through his mic?
Maybe.
It's possible.
It sounds good on this end.
Oh, it might just be Zach's computer then.
Listen to it.
It literally sounds fine.
Yeah, it does. It does sound
Sounds
fine.
good.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Zach, fix your computer, okay? Hold
What
on,
if
hold
it is echoing and he's really...
Hold on.
He's going to record it and be like, no, F you.
The playback is fine.
Look at me.
It sounded good right
Look at
there.
me. Right here. Right here. No. Put it back on me. Put it back on me.
Tommy, put it back on cue.
Yeah, he's
Fix
getting
your
deep
computer.
into you.
Update your drivers. Do whatever you need to do. Okay? Not echoing.
Insulting our viewers.
What's he on? He's on his Mac. He's probably just on his phone.
Oh, he said it's good now. All right.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, but he's probably
I
on his
apologize
phone
that
or
you were wrong because if you
on the MacBook.
notice, you might not have listened before, but we're never wrong.
We're never wrong.
Roast him.
Zach
Flame
is
him.
listen. Zach's an OG. Listen.
Grill him.
So yeah, we're never wrong. So you were just wrong.
All
It's
right. All right. Listen, everybody, shut the fuck up. Listen.
We're talking about content creators.
The OGs of content creators. Okay, we're talking when gaming commentary first started. We're gonna say back in 08, 09 is when this shit started gaining some traction. and some of those OGs. And my OG that, I mean, I'll go ahead and list them off as, like, we'll just start off with a fucking bang. We'll get more in depth later, is PewDiePie. Because he literally infected the fucking internet as far as gaming commentary was concerned. He transcended YouTube. He became like an overnight success. He was on, they referenced him in comedies and TV shows and movies. Like, he was referenced all the time. He gained a lot of traction really, really fast. And this was what, we were in middle school when he started getting real big with just Call of Duty commentaries and his weird, zany attitude.
You know what else
and people
he
were
blew
just
up with?
fucking obsessed with him.
Was the horror.
That's what I was gonna add. Like, what
he was a horror
known
streamer for a while because his reactions to it is what made him blow up.
But he wasn't even streaming. This was like these were just
I'm not
videos
talking
on
about
YouTube.
streaming. I'm talking about his videos.
yeah.
He would do a montage of him like playing horror games and him screaming because of the horror games because of the jump scares.
All right. I remember the COD commentaries from like
Yeah.
7th grade. What he was real big with.
The old
So-
capture card special.
Yeah, the old school Dazzle. The Dazzle capture
I had
days.
that. Yeah.
All they did was crash. I'm playing my PS2 game and capturing it on Dazzle, so it's gonna crash 40 times. Anytime, any fucking like.
The OG Dazzle.
If you were watching
Yeah,
like
man, with the AV
some kind
jacks.
of guide to a
People don't
PS2 game, they were all done through Dazzle back in the day, and they
Yeah.
crashed all the time.
Yeah.
I've lost all my saves. Yeah, man. I mean, I think he's the one we should start with.
UOSK lick butt montage on Dazzle. Go ahead and
PewDiePie
throw some respect on that.
transcended gaming as far as the commentary was concerned.
And he's one of he still makes content today, so he's stuck around from the beginning to where he is now. But he's also the #1 most subscribed account on YouTube, or if not, he's like number 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's one of them. He is definitely in the top.
I know he was
That's a
overtaken
fact.
by some like Indian or Chinese music company.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah,
a
he
big
was.
deal on YouTube for a
He
little
was,
while. But
yeah.
insane,
But he
man.
is one of the top ever.
So one of yours is PewDiePie.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be. I mean he was the most influential when we were little for that time as far as how big he got.
I didn't watch PewDiePie.
No, I'm not saying. I'm
I
not
did
saying that
watch
he was
him
like
either.
I was a fan of him. That's the first one I remember everyone talking about. Yeah.
The first iteration I had with a content creator was C-Nanners because Fields showed me, or the Yam showed me his Minecraft playthrough, episode 1. I remember watching that all the way through.
a
until he
legendary
finished.
series.
If you haven't watched it, honestly, it probably still holds up to today because it's alpha Minecraft and it's so peaceful to watch because he's
does.
learning the game with you at that point. Which also, in my opinion, helped Minecraft blow up.
I think so too. I think the exposure it got on YouTube is definitely the reason why it got as big as it did.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
That series of his very first iteration of the Minecraft playthrough, that's the first sort of injection, I'll say, of content creation that deals with commentators. Like, not necessarily, I don't know if he went live. I don't know if that was his thing, was he did live commentary or if he commentated afterwards. I don't think it was ever really
See,
said.
that
I
was
think
a
it
big thing too.
Yeah, I think it was live.
I think it was live as well.
commentary was
talking
much
while
more
he was doing
respected.
it, yeah.
People like live commentary. They wanted to see a webcam and you just talking while you're playing. That's what people like to see in your genuine reaction, and then you would upload that.
Yeah.
That started blowing up. People down in the little bottom left.
Coming from a creation standpoint, it was tough to do back in the day because I know we tried to do it
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And we could not figure out how to do the live commentary while we were playing. It was with the older setups, if you didn't have enough
That's what
money
I'm
to
saying.
spend on it.
This was back in the day.
Yeah, the screen capture that you had to use instead of the screen capture instead of Dazzle.
Hypercam?
Yeah,
Whatever.
Hypercam.
Hypercam with the
it was
360p? Oh, dude,
Yeah, that's what I'm
that's a
saying.
throwback.
You guys remember like Elgato 240p and all that shit? Like that was huge back in the day.
Elgato is a good.
Elgato's
streaming
very,
device.
very good
Split
now,
thing
but where I'm talking like the OG days of screen capture, Elgato was considered the best, and that was like 240 back when we were like in middle school. So
Hypercam RuneScape videos.
God, Hypercam, let me tell you.
Shit, man.
That thing lagged like the Dickens.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well, of course, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Mine too.
like think about what
And we
what
were using
thought was
Audacity.
good connection.
Back in the day,
Yeah, like
yes.
we're using for something else, like this podcast. We're using Audacity. We used Audacity back in the day over top of our Hypercam and merged them to upload to YouTube.
And we did. We
so,
were
you know, we're
resourceful.
technically OGs.
Yeah, we were resourceful. We
were-
are OG. We belong
were
on this
OGs.
list.
We got 8 years. I think 8 years ago is when that was first uploaded.
and maybe 8 views on our videos. So,
Honestly,
You think that video was
Reaching
uploaded
out.
8 years
Yeah,
ago?
He got the biggest
no,
traction.
for
Redo
sure.
your math because it's been longer than that.
You think so? I think
You guys uploaded that in middle school.
Are you sure? He got traction too. He had
Mr. Time to Help did.
You
Mr.
uploaded
Time to
that
Help-
in 8th grade.
Mr. Time
That's
to
like
Help
09.
gained some traction on the Void of the Seas or something
I
like that.
started doing flash game
Was it
playthroughs.
Seas of
Yes, it's something to the void.
something of the
Yeah.
Void.
Let's get real. Like you're saying that it was uploaded our senior year of high school? No, it wasn't.
No, 8 years ago.
Way longer than that ago,
Yeah, 8
homie.
years ago was
Way longer than
junior
that.
year.
What?
You
No,
uploaded
it's
that
almost
in
senior
middle
year.
school, homie. In middle school is when you
That's
guys
so
uploaded that.
weird to think about.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It is. Wow, that's crazy to even think
That was
about.
8th
You're
grade.
right. No, you're right. We can talk about a decade plus.
Well, he had I think on the series as a whole probably 30,000
Ish, yeah.
views across
Really?
his 7 videos.
Continuous drop. It's literally one of those
Legend
flash
of the
You
Void.
didn't
games.
put any montages?
Legend of the Void.
You didn't put any gameplay montages on
We
there?
did.
I had a
did
couple of montages.
The-
None of them
the
blew
US
up.
Quick scope monk, you did?
The UOSK
Yeah, I had some.
clan, we
But
uploaded
not
like
the
4 or 5.
not the good ones, man. I got my capture card like towards the end of my Call of Duty career. If I'd have had it the whole time, we would have been balling. Like we would have had stupid gameplays up, and even like competitive gameplays up too.
Yeah.
And really like had a platform. But the capture card came in towards the end of Modern Warfare 2, and then really just fell off
9
of Call
years
of Duty.
ago.
Yeah,
9 years ago?
9. So we were close.
we were close.
There's no way that was uploaded in
It
high
was.
school.
9 years ago. I think it was.
I think it
was
was.
8th grade. It might have been
8th
it
grade
might have
summer
been
going into
8th
freshman
grade,
year.
freshman
I don't know.
year.
Out of that date just doesn't sound right.
That sounds about right. We were 14. 14, yeah.
We'd have been
14,
freshman year.
14.
Hey, my content creator talking about OGs and being young. Blame Truth.
Yeah.
Blame Truth. I don't even know if you guys know who that is. But
By the way,
that
anytime
was,
we look up, like if I'm looking up or he's looking to the right, he's looking to the left, that's our board. Our board's
got a
behind
little
us.
chalkboard over
They
here
can
written
see it
stuff.
in the corner of the screen. You can
Um,
kinda get up
Can they see a little bit of it?
It
Yeah, they
says,
can.
It says FaZe Clan nude.
Oh, no, it does say nude. No, it says nade. It's nade
Oh,
for
it
nade
looks like
shot.
It says FaZe Clan
For
nude in
nade
the
shot.
corner of
Well,
the
there's a lot
screen.
worse shit that usually
Hilarious.
goes up there, so. Yeah, nade shot.
Well, are we doing one at a time? Then we'll do one at a time.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
whatever.
It's a round table discussion.
Blame-
Yeah, Blame Truth. The first, if I'm not mistaken, he was the very first creator on YouTube to upload a gameplay with commentary on top of it. There were, gameplays have been around since the Call of Duties have been around, and even before that, since games have come out, but commentary started in Modern Warfare, Call of
did.
Duty 4. It
I agree.
started there, and then it just kind of just blew up. And now it's, nobody watches gameplays
FPS
without
gameplay
commentary anymore.
started with Call of Duty. It definitely
So
did.
he was the first one, and I started watching his videos, and I was like, "Damn, this dude is really good." And it just kind of, maybe that's what inspired me to get good, was watching other people who were super good,
Get
and then
good.
they explain how they move or why they,
Yeah,
why
why they
they
do
play
this.
how they play. And I think Blame Truth is who started it for me.
There wasn't a lot of mechanics back then with Call of Duty. It was very specific. So you didn't have a wide range of combat mechanics or a wide range of arsenals. So the things that they gave you, you had to use them very, very well, right? You had to master snap aiming, master drop shotting, master strafing, master hip firing. And we think about how those mechanics are implemented into every shooter today, and those are basic combat maneuvers. That's as basic as it gets. But go back to Modern Warfare 2, where if you didn't know, if you couldn't master those skills, you're never going to be good. Think about the average. I want you to do, let's go back and think about the average Modern Warfare 2 player.
That's
they would go 5 and
exactly
7
where I
and
wanted
think
to
that they're
come
good
in
at the
with.
game.
Yep. People were so bad. The skill
So
gap back
bad.
then
Yeah.
was so
People were fucking horrendous.
so wide. If you were good, you were great at the game. But
Yeah,
if
you
you were
never got
bad, you're
killed.
just gonna do dog shit every single time.
Yep.
You might have an okay game where you almost go even or you go a little positive, but the people who are really good, constantly banging out 20 bombs,
Classic
30 bombs,
sprinting
just
around every corner.
killing, dude.
Sprinting with an LMG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
thinking that they're
reckless.
going to ADS before you do with a UMP.
Yeah. Just dumb.
And screaming in the headset, having
I
no
loved
idea
it,
how
man.
they died. Oh, this guy's obviously hacking. But in the kill cam, this dude
Oh.
never even ADSs on you.
And no SBMM. No
Yeah, there
skill-based
was no
matchmaking
skill-based
at all. You
matchmaking.
get to play with the little kids who are really bad,
It was all connection
Now,
based.
if you're good at the game, you only play with other people who are good.
Yeah,
and it just
SBMM
kind
has
of
destroyed casual multiplayer.
takes that
It's
fun
destroyed
away,
it.
man.
That's why you have competitive. Don't put SBMM in my
your
public
casuals.
playlist.
Amen.
It's so fucking trash.
Amen.
All
that
right. Do you want to
opinion
give
too.
another one? One of your OGs?
Yeah, man. One of my OGs, dude, honestly, really all of Optic. Really all of Optic gaming.
Agreed.
As
Agreed.
far as OG in the fucking content days, man. In the Call of Duty or just FPS in general content days of YouTube, Optic Gaming was totally where it was at. They were by far the biggest organization, side by side with FaZe. We'll talk about FaZe in a little bit.
And
But
another company.
Name the other one that was as big as those two were.
Do you not think Machinima was just as big?
Oh,
as
bro,
those
this
two?
is not. I'm talking about a professional gaming org.
I don't know. You could always.
No, Machinima, they were more of news and content. Whereas Optic Gaming, they competed in tournaments and they had their own YouTube channel where all of
There
the
was
players
another-
uploaded to it all the time.
I can't remember who Optic's main competitors were before FaZe, back when it was, man.
As far as the tournaments go, it would have been like Complexity and Luminosity and EG and all those
that
guys
rings
way
a
back
bell,
in the
yeah.
day. Yeah, but we're just talking about content creation because Optic Gaming they were winning Call of Duty championships,
true,
but this
yeah,
is
but-
before esports got real big.
Yeah.
Them and FaZe were massive content creators, so their YouTube channels were fucking popping, and all their COD pros were on there uploading every day to it. And all of Optic Gaming as a whole, back when we were real young, well, not back in like our teenage days, they were the biggest scene when it came to professional FPS gamers as far as the traction and the celebrity that they had on the internet. Like Nate Shot, who's a multi-millionaire who owns 100 Thieves now. Think about where he started. He just started in a fucking, a gaming house. Remember the Optic Gaming house back in the day? And they just recorded videos all day and uploaded them. And won tournaments for minuscule amounts of money.
Yep.
And now he's a multi-millionaire. Scump is a multi-millionaire. Formal is a multi-millionaire. All these guys are. So, I remember how wild, and Hector Rodriguez, the owner and the creator of Optic, multi-millionaire, is an amazing. Think about how great of a businessman he is.
Yeah,
he
true.
barely
Not
games.
anybody can do that.
No,
Not
he's
anybody
just a
can
great
really
businessman.
run an org. It's a totally different side to it.
You ever seen the Hex quarters in
I think-
Texas?
I think so. They've done like podcasts there.
Yeah.
They had like videos where he came in and brought different people. He had the
A giant
Optic
ass
reunion
building
or something.
Yeah. Just a massive ass fucking massive building, and he calls it the Hex quarters. And they do everything like as far as Optic Gaming goes. A lot of what they're doing just goes on inside that building. A lot of their content all comes from there. They practice for the tournaments inside there. Of course, Optic is a lot more than Call of Duty. So, but as far as because he's the president of Optic Call of Duty, a co-creator and owner of the brand. So everything that happens as far as the Call of Duty brand is concerned happens inside of the Hex quarters, which he runs. So I mean, in the 100 Thieves, they have their own headquarters too.
Yep, I saw that.
Fucking massive.
Sponsored by Cash App. The Cash App gaming
the
house.
Cash App headquarters.
Ridiculous.
Like what the fuck?
I don't know how much
Bro,
money they're getting from these sponsors
Gaming houses
to do videos like that.
That was a thing, bro. That was a fucking thing. And of course, gaming houses are dead now, but that's wild. Just
what
to
we have
uproot
now.
your
They
whole
have
life.
streaming
We have a podcast
houses
house.
but it's
No,
like the
bro,
org.
this is not.
It's
no.
like
this
the
is our
org. It's
house.
not dudes just coming together just like on a whim.
Yeah, the org.
Let's
No,
try and
I'm
do
talking
this.
about when people would just all move into a house together, create a channel, and just make videos all day. Like those days are dead.
You still see that happening. This is a little bit off.
The TikTok
off topic.
houses and all that dumb shit.
But fishing wise, the Guggen Squad did that. They built it. They bought their own house and made. That was their main hub for making videos.
Right.
They do podcasts.
But these things just aren't as common anymore.
No.
Because you gain traction individually now. This was
Yep.
back before, like you had to create a brand back then. So,
So,
dude, all of Optic Gaming when I was in middle school and the early days of high school, the OG YouTube days,
They were
like
the
I thought
biggest.
those guys were just wild. Like they like this is all they have. They all they either dropped out of school or they just graduated, and this is I'm gonna just do this now and watch me succeed. Like everyone telling them this is the worst idea you could ever have. Esports won't blow up. Fucking hilarious.
one of my favorite OGs that a lot of people may know or may not know. It's you kind of tip the scale on it with if they know him or not. Is Penguin Zoe or Critical. However, he's different names on all different platforms. Which
He's
is
a fucking
hilarious.
comedian more than anything.
Yeah, this guy, he's a comedian, but it's such a dry humor that you had known
It's
him in
deadpan.
the past.
It's dark deadpan.
Yeah, you
Yep.
you have to know his humor to think it's funny.
Yeah, you got to get it.
The same way you have to know Dr. Disrespect's humor to get his humor. It's
True.
It's very targeted.
Niche-ish.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, I mean he's a character, whereas Critical's not.
No, Critical's
That's
just
just
talking.
that's just
Literally
who he
does.
That's
is.
really him.
Yeah.
Dr. D is a character.
But his old stuff, I mean, some of the funniest shit.
Modern
you'll
Warfare
watch.
2 troll videos are the funniest
The
things
Halo,
I
the
still
Halo
watch to this
beating
day.
the Halo monster with a forklift. Do you remember that?
No, I don't
He
think
tried
I've
to-
seen that
He
one.
tried to
but-
beat the Halo monster with. It was like in one of the Halos. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's 3, maybe 4. You fight this bigger alien, and he tried to kill it with a forklift, and it was probably the funniest shit you could ever see. Him doing like the what is that? The WASD or the QWER.
QWOP? Yeah.
Doing the QWOP with the runner. Did you ever see that?
That
No.
might be his most successful video.
That shit's hilarious.
Dude, and that's the kind of stuff that I was looking at with the Mr. Time to Help videos. Are those little games like that,
And
like
it's-
hidden gems?
And it's not even like he puts any effort. I mean, he does put an effort. I'm
right,
not going
to
crap on
record,
what
I
it is.
agree, but he just does the same
Yeah.
stuff.
It does
every
the same
video.
stuff. His thumbnail is something really stupid that probably doesn't take a lot of time to
Yep.
upload. It's all
Right.
stretched and warped, and it doesn't look great. But that's his shtick. That's what he's.
How many
stuck
subs
to.
does he have anymore?
has
How often does he
probably,
He's
upload?
at like
He's-
4 million now.
4 to 8 million. He's in that range.
Yeah.
And he probably uploads like once a month or
has
some
probably-
shit.
No, like Charlie now is a full-time content creator. He uploads multiple times a day sometimes, multiple times a week. He's on Twitch all the time. Like,
Yeah, his
Really?
Twitch, he probably has close to 20,000 subscribers on Twitch.
and he's banking off YouTube. He is big time set now. And that's a dude that, when we were young, I thought he was older than we were because his voice
Yeah.
was always so deep.
It's deep.
It's crazy to find out he's our age. And he just started making videos
Yeah.
back then, just
Yep.
trolling people, and he turned it into a full career.
There's someone who's like him now. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Fuck. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But
You
he
know who
kinda-
Barbecue Dan the Man is?
No.
Same thing. He was the biggest Gears of War troll ever. And he's a millionaire because of it.
I
What
love
is his
it.
name? It's
That's
gonna
what I
bother me.
want to get good at, is trolling. Like
yeah, he's
finding
the
new
greatest
ways to
Gears troll
troll
ever.
on different videos.
I watched him for a little bit when I was doing Borderlands 3 and shit because he does like videos where he'll beat the whole game with no guns, or he'll beat the game
Oh,
without
like
trying to
challenge
take
runs
damage.
and stuff?
Yeah, but he does like he adds in little snippets and like little comedy here and there. It's pretty funny, but I can't remember his name. But he kind of gives off those critical vibes, which is a good wave to ride if you want to.
I think so.
Tommy, what the fuck are you laughing at back there?
Palmer says, yeah, but you can only jump forward from reach.
Okay, so it's Reach. See, I don't.
We got our
You can
expert,
only
resident
drive a
Halo expert in the
forklift.
chat.
So it's
Shout out,
Reach.
Palmer. Thank you.
I knew it was
Oh,
one
my
of the
God.
Halos back in that day. I just couldn't remember which one it was.
He
It's
can
Reach.
only drive a forklift.
Also, I want to get this out of the way. We made a non-mistake in the last video.
I bet
And it was
wasn't me.
partially my fault.
Oh, there we go.
Because you were talking about Borderlands and Butt Stallion, and I was listening.
Border
Butt Stallion
Hose.
was Borderlands 2, not Borderlands 1. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't all the way listening to you, and you talked to me, and I just said yeah, because you said it was in the first installment.
I said, was it in the first one?
yeah, and I said yeah, because I wasn't paying attention. But it's Borderlands 2. I want to get that
I
out
don't
of the
think
way.
anybody's upset with us
Yeah.
about
They
that.
are so upset.
They're
I've
no
seen
way.
Straighten the
emails.
record. The
mad
angry
about
mob
that.
that was outside is putting down their pitchforks.
Death
Yeah,
threats.
they're walking away now.
I've been
We're
getting
good.
death threats because of that.
No.
Uh,
Incorrect.
Good for you to.
Yeah, I wanted to
correct
go
that.
ahead and get that out of the way. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a misinterpretation. We don't make mistakes.
I misinterpreted the rules.
So,
Tom Brady.
And
yeah,
screen
so I'll
peeks
say
the whole
Critical
tournament.
is probably one of my all-time favorites.
Same.
Right behind, I mean, he's not an old head, but right behind, like, Dr. Disrespect, because I think his shit's hilarious. But he's more of a new age, so we'll,
Yeah,
Dr. D is definitely more of a new age. He has been around, but he didn't really gain traction until a couple years ago
yeah.
It's Critical and Donkey.
when he
for
cheated
me.
on his wife.
Donkey.
Video game Donkey.
I want you to think about how much traction that gained him. I mean, he was popular before that, and people loved him before that, and really, he didn't lose a lot of traction. Honestly, man, that wasn't a big setback for him because any publicity is good publicity. But
Unless
the
you're
whole
fucking
scandal
DJ
thing,
Keemstar.
and he did it right. See, he did it right. He could have either A, lied about it, or just never spoke on it. But before it even came out, he decided that he was going to be the one to talk about it. In fact, everybody found out because he told people, not because fucking Keemstar or some drama channel did.
That's
he decided he
true.
wanted to. He came on stream, not in his costume, and broke down and talked about how, for his like being unfaithful. And,
It takes a
and
lot of courage
That's why
to do
people
something
were
like
cool
that, man.
about it.
It takes a lot of courage to do
Yeah,
something
because he
like
didn't wait
that.
for a drama channel to pick it up. He's like, I want to talk about it.
I
That's
can't
smart.
imagine.
I mean, that's a... Whether it was a subconscious business decision or whether it was just him actually, like, as a man coming out and like, hey... I fucked up. I mean, that's smart because you got to think. You can't shit on somebody for admitting their own flaws. They are literally admitting
That's what I'm
to
saying.
you. They're
They're
hearting
opening
you.
themselves
They are
up to
literally
you.
No one
saying-
knew until he said it.
Yeah, they're literally saying, I fucked up. Talk about it if you want, but I have come to terms with understanding that I have fucked up. So that's how you block out all of the bad shit. You just full on accept it and you admit it. And then you can't... the problem with... subtweeting, I will say, in conversation about it, is if he was to go on these talk shows or whatever and talk about it and sort of hint at what would happen, the media would twist that immediately. They would twist his arm and it would fuck him. in the end, because they are really good at twisting what people say and grabbing bits from this, and bits from this, and then merging it all together in one sentence that makes it. Yes, he did say that in all technicality, but you have to read the context to understand what he was saying. So to get on stream and admit exactly what he did wrong, and I mean,
It's tough, man.
It takes balls.
It hit me when he did it. When he started crying, I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, the
No one
amount
likes
of
to see a
courage
grown man cry.
to say something like that. It's just to admit that you
6'8".
cheated on your significant
250.
other, man.
6'8", great.
That's something that people look down on other people in a different way about. Like if you committed a crime, it depends on the severity of the crime, but like infidelity or cheating in relationships, especially like married, does he have kids?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's
especially to break the character, though.
huge. Yeah, it's
To
huge.
And no one ever saw him break
to
character
come out
before.
and say that.
To take
And
away the facade of Dr. Disrespect.
It worked.
Yeah,
it worked very well
He goes to,
because
like,
in time
Game
it has
Awards
aged
as
very
the
well,
character.
and I do respect him a lot for
Well,
doing
people
that.
still give him shit in chat, but it's
Oh, well,
funny.
they never won't.
Yeah, you earned it. You earned it, and he knows that, and he'll live with that forever. But
Yeah.
the way he came out definitely earned a lot of respect from people.
Yeah. Really, he needs a little more respect put on his name, Mr. Dr. Dirrespect. Needs a little bit more respect. So let's talk about him transcending all of gaming in general, because we talked about his
let's
fucking.
touch on Machinima just a hair. Because Machinima was a big part in the gaming community.
Well, he was also involved in Machinima as well.
Was he? Was Dr.
Post.
Disrespect?
Yeah,
Post-haste.
Dr. Disrespect got his start in gaming through being a level developer. Like he was a map
That's true.
dev
Yep.
for
He
the
was
like
a
Modern
map
Warfare
dev
2.
No, it was
Black Ops?
Advanced
World-
Warfare.
Advanced Warfare? That's quite late.
It
Advanced
is.
Warfare would have been 2015.
Yeah, he was Advanced Warfare.
That's the only one that he helped
I
develop.
think so. It was either that or the one right before it.
Well,
Wait,
he was
I thought he was with
like
Treyarch.
Oh, he was.
yeah. If he
So
was a
what was
Treyarch, it was
Treyarch?
not Advanced Warfare.
What was the one after Advanced Warfare?
BO3? That was the
Black
Treyarch
Ops
The one
game.
before it then.
Black Ops 2?
Ghost, COD
World-
Ghost, which is Infinity Ward.
Oh, Ghost.
Try
yeah.
once again. Try again.
What was the one before that?
Black Ops 2.
And then
It
before
might be
that?
Black Ops 2.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you,
Could
it was.
be Big
if,
Red
if
1.
he worked for
Could be COD
Treyarch, it was
3.
Black Ops 1.
Yeah.
That's the one he helped develop. If he worked for Treyarch.
I can't recall. Machinima
Tommy,
was...
put your fucking phone down. That's
Tommy!
what goddamn
What
Tommy.
are we doing?
Tommy, look up
Tommy.
what maps of what Call of Duty Dr. Disrespect helped make.
He makes
Dr. D was also OG Machinima guy. I thought he was with Machinima back in the days. I'm not saying he was in front of the camera,
I don't know.
but wasn't he like one of the writers and shit for him?
I don't know.
I thought he was a behind the scenes guy for Machinima.
I can't really name any big, even like Machinima names apart from Hutch.
I don't remember
He
Machinima
helped,
names.
Advanced Warfare. I was right.
he
But
helped
you said he
AW?
worked for Treyarch.
Advanced Warfare,
I thought he did.
Solar,
I thought.
Horizon,
I thought he did.
Ascend. Actually, a lot of it. Holy shit.
Okay, well, AW was Sledgehammer, so
That's
that's,
what- he
that's
worked
when
for
Sledgehammer,
Sledgehammer.
because
That's
that
what
was
it
their
was.
first Call of Duty
There
game.
we
Yes,
go.
Sledgehammer. That's
I think he's worked for Sledgehammer, or he worked for them for a long time, and that was their first Call of Duty game.
Yeah, I knew it was AW. You said Treyarch, and it
I
threw
thought
me
it was
off, and I
Treyarch, to be
completely
honest
forgot
with you.
about Sledgehammer.
I haven't been keeping up with the manga. I apologize.
Sledgehammer's
Yeah,
not even
keep
around
up with
anymore.
fucking
Well,
Lord,
they are,
No,
but
bro,
barely.
no.
Well, Machinima, it was a main hub for games. Game
Yeah, it was-
creation
it was
in
just a-
general.
yeah.
It was news. Cena Enters, Hutch, and Sark were sort of the main three, I'll say, to come out of that. I mean, I'm sure there was a whole lot.
Oh, there was hundreds of them.
There was hundreds of them, but the ones that I more geared my attention towards was Cena Enters, Hutch, and Sark, especially their
Yeah.
inbox, where they answer questions from the internet.
Machinima
That
inbox.
shit is gold.
Dude, I'd say for 2 or 3 years, Machinima was the biggest face of gaming
gaming,
news, of
of
gaming news and
gaming,
content
anything.
and all of it. They were it. Do you remember waiting in line for Modern Warfare 3 at the midnight release? And there was a chick there that worked for Machinima.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Us meeting her and talking to her, and we thought that she wasn't legit because she was wearing like a shirt and a badge, and we were like, nah, she's fucking around. And then she told us some insider information because the game wasn't out yet, all right? Because it was going to release at midnight. We're all in line, and she said there's a new game mode called Kill Confirmed, and she said when you play that game mode, you'll know that I'm in Machinima. Well, Kill Confirmed was brand new to Call of Duty in that game. And I was like, okay.
Good addition,
all
by
right.
the way. I like
So
the
she's
idea.
really
of
in
Kill
Machinima.
Confirmed.
Yeah, that is a good.
Yeah, I like that game mode for sure.
Unless you run into shit teammates who don't want to collect tags.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you still have
people
dirtbags, you just sit there and
farm.
don't collect
People
their
just
fucking
sit in
tags.
windows and make the game go 30 minutes because they don't ever collect a tag. Yeah, but no, that was the first iteration of Kill Confirm was MW3.
So let's switch into New Age. We've touched enough on Old Age. Let's switch into new. What did you have another one you wanted to talk
Well,
about?
I said, like, well, I mean, we'll just hit on the fact that Dr. Disrespect has transcended gaming as a whole. I mean, he's a new age, but, I guess we'll get back to him. But FaZe, man. Before we move on, we got to talk a little bit about FaZe. We talked about FaZe earlier with as far as Optic, because they both came up together. But FaZe, they were just a group of guys, okay? Like, you're talking about starting from nothing.
I know another one.
They were just a group of guys that made trick shot montages on YouTube, just like 3 or 4 guys. And they called themselves FaZe Clan. And they gained so much fucking traction because they had the wildest quickscope montages, like huge. And it's like, did they have like the best setup and the nicest equipment? No, man. They were just teenagers that put up quickscope montages and trick shot montages, and people thought they were fucking crazy. I will never forget when we were in middle school, how many kids wanted to be in FaZe?
Dude,
all
I
day,
can't tell
every
you.
day. People just saying, I'm going to try out for FaZe. I'm going to, like, message them and see if they'll let me try out. Bro, it was so
Our
stupid.
clan was, I mean, in a sense,
We were
based
decent.
upon
Yeah,
the
exactly.
trick shot.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why we came up with UOSK. We agreed that was something we wanted
But
to
FaZe
attempt at.
FaZe was doing it before
FaZe
was.
FaZe was doing it way before us.
I think
they were doing way crazier shots. And
trick shot montages are great, and like it's very entertaining to watch, but I also think like it pushed the envelope so far that now everybody who wanted a quickscope started doing that dumb shit all the time. And it took away the enjoyment of like being a good quickscoper. Well, yeah, what kind of trick shots have you hit though? And like if you're not doing a trick shot to finish the game, well now you're kind of a bum in the quickscoping community, which I think is kind of silly. It took away some of the enjoyment in the game because I'll tell you, I got more pissed off trying to hit crazy trick shots than I ever did actually hitting one out of 1,000 trick shots.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
you
just-
would lose games or have games lost because
Literally,
that
like you're the
one
last
1080
person in
double
search, and
YY.
everybody's like, hit him with the trick shot, do the fucking 360, and you die, and you lose, and now you're really pissed off. It's like, oh, it wasn't worth it, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Jump out of the building, YY, 360, throw a knife, quick
Fuck it, yeah,
And
get
the-
your pistol stuck in the running enemy. Like there were just so many
Yep.
dumb things they found.
And it
out.
was so easy to, I guess, sort of practice this is to just run quickscope lobbies over and over and over again and just fuck around and do stuff. That's why, till this day, I think it is agreed upon by the quickscoping community. If you run a private quickscoping match, it has to be ended on a 360.
Yeah,
or
this
some
is
sort
a
of
this is
trick
a
shot.
gentleman's
You have
agreement
to.
that
Yeah,
everybody
it's
fucking
an
understands.
It should be unspoken by
The
now.
people that
Yeah.
we quickscope with now that didn't grow up on this shit, like they don't believe me when I tell them this. And when I say the people we quickscope with, this is just like our personal friends that never like.
Doug?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like fucking
Jacob?
Doug and
I
Kevin
know you
and
don't 360
Jacob
for
and
the
all
final
and
kill.
Rob and
That's
all them
unacceptable.
that don't believe that that's a thing. They're like, well, no one says you have to 360 for the final kill. I'm like, dude, since 2006 you've had to do this,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, it's been a thing forever.
It's like Rocket League.
Everybody
if you run into
knows.
somebody's car in the front, you have to stay there. You don't move.
That's true, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
If you guys lock, you stay there until somebody scores or one other teammate hits you. If it's a 1v1, you just fucking sit there
yeah,
until
bro,
something
it's a
happens.
gentleman's agreement. You 360 for the
I'm
final
never the
kill.
first one to jump. I keep on running into
Yeah,
you.
it's just people that can't 360 say no, you don't have to, and then they'll say, oh, you can't do it either. You just say that, so if you're in second or third, you can catch back up. That's fucking hilarious.
Go ahead and
That's
just watch.
hilarious.
Go
And
ahead
every
and
time
watch.
they say that, the 360 comes in, and they're like, oh, okay.
With the iteration of the best kill of the round is your kill cam instead of the game ender.
Oh, I know. It
really
changed
fucks you.
everything.
Because
That-
now
yeah.
you have to put full faith that somebody
That
does
someone did a
360.
fucking 360.
And most of the time, if y'all are both 360ing, it cancels out. So whoever hits the shot first, you're like, bro, I didn't think you 360'd. And you have no proof from that.
They didn't need to do that.
They didn't.
Switch it to the best kill.
They
That
didn't.
nobody even wanted that.
It's a fucking
you know?
handshake. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's weird.
You should be able to choose which one you want if you're on a private server.
I think so.
If you're in
I
a
think so,
private
too.
game, you should be able to say, I want to do a game-ending kill cam, not who had the best 5 in a row, because you're just sitting
Yeah,
there.
because you'll hit something nasty. Like you could hit a 360 no scope, something clean, and even get like a collateral, and then some dude with an assault rifle gets 3 or 4 kills in a row, and your kill cam doesn't pop up. You know?
Right,
They don't-
exactly. It's all numbers.
There's no like criteria.
Yeah,
that
no,
goes
it's
in
just a
the
score
system for doing
generator.
that.
It's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with anything.
Yep.
If you land a headshot, you're probably going to get play of the game because that headshot's going to boost your score.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a Tommy.
Silly.
Who's the greatest quickscoper of all time?
Oh shit.
Make sure your fucking mic's on.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, turn your mic on.
Echo.
It's fine. They'll deal with the echo for now. Turn your mic
How will
on.
it echo?
Who's the greatest quickscoper in the world? UOSK lick butt.
I don't know who is quickscoper, to be honest. I would have to say, maybe, Quentin Brownlee.
Oh, there we go. You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
We can
Spongy
all
Only
agree.
now.
We can all agree upon that Adam Monsanto out of our group was probably the
I
best.
take it back.
That is an agreement.
We
talked
may
about all
agree
this
to
shit
disagree
last
on
week.
certain
We're
things.
not going to go all the way back through this shit.
Me and Adam went back and forth a lot.
We're not
And we
going to
went
go back
and forth,
through
but
this.
for some reason you never remember.
I don't
You
remember it like that to this
You
day.
started this.
You
You
saying
never-
it is not just gonna implant it in
I
there
know.
like
I
it
don't
happened.
know why you don't remember.
I
that.
don't
we
know
go
either,
back and forth.
but I don't remember.
I don't
it
know
like that.
why. Listen, you slept on my skill back then because I don't know why. But I'm telling you right now, we went back and forth so much that it just turned into it didn't matter.
Maybe it's because you were better at me than parkour. Maybe it's because you hit that double vault.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why
It was
deep
the
inside.
double Kong followed by the wall
That's
flip.
what it was. Yeah, the
followed
double
by the
Kong vault.
two-step.
Oh, baby. I don't know. I do. Adam Monsanto is super good.
UFN parkour, shout out.
That was good as well. Yeah, UFM parkour.
Urban
shout out.
flip nasty.
Don't you jump from there. Shout out, Miss. I'm
Dude,
not
that
gonna
was
start
the
dropping
best
names.
YouTube video ever made.
not gonna start
Don't
dropping
you
names.
jump from there, and then he just jumps off.
All right,
I
go to
think-
the office.
I think, oh God,
Who put that on
parkour
YouTube?
and free running.
He did himself, yeah.
Parkour and free running at the
recorded it.
country club is probably the best video put out on YouTube.
My
Parkour
Lord.
He
at the
looks
country
as though
club.
he's doing a hip thrust.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of like,
Oh, you?
12th grade writing that,
That
was.
thing?
I was trying to be
Yeah.
smart. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Back to it.
back to it.
New school.
Tommy, turn your fucking mic off if it's
New
on.
school?
Oh, I turned it off.
It's only on when we tell you to talk.
God. Get him. Get him. Good. New school?
New school. So do we just go in order? Or, okay. Do we?
We'll talk about Dr. D first.
No. I want to get
Dr.
I wanna
Long
get
D.
these,
A little
these guys
peck
out
on
of the
his
way.
name.
Can we get the Paul brothers out of the way?
Yeah, look.
Please,
listen,
that's.
listen.
I wanna get-
literally
Earlier,
shared that
like we
sentiment
said
as soon as I
earlier,
looked at it.
there's going to be problems when we talk about new age. Because content creation in today's society is very, very, very different now. If you have a decent following on TikTok, you consider yourself a fucking influencer and a celebrity. So we're just sticking in the world of gaming and a transcendence in a social media. So we are going to say the Paul brothers. Here's why. I'm not going to talk about them for too long, but
That's enough.
yeah, because it's not like no
Solid.
one knows. Like everybody knows who the
Solid.
fuck they are, obviously. But they transcended the internet as a whole. They have become full-on celebrities. But they got their start being funny guys on Vine, and then they created Team 10 in the fucking YouTube channel, and they're full-on celebrities. They've transcended the internet and social
Yeah.
media as a whole.
Yeah.
And
Household
I wouldn't
names.
recommend them. Yeah, or I wouldn't say that they're a part of the gaming community at all whatsoever.
No.
But yeah, of course they've done collabs with gamers
But
and,
for
and
new
shit like
age
that.
content creation, you know, it's sort of the difference. Here's a good analogy. I would compare them almost to, and this is a bad analogy. So this has to do with hip hop culture. We'll go with that.
But,
If y'all don't know what the hippity hop is, it's when you hop hip.
yeah, and you don't stop when you flip
hips
flop.
pop.
It is. Should I say it?
I don't even know what you're thinking
you
about
probably
saying.
should.
So.
Papa dog.
Fuck a Papa Doc.
I'd rather.
we're
Wait,
not- we're not
guys,
gonna go any
do you
further.
know what that's from, though? I feel like you guys say they know
Yeah.
what the fuck it's from.
Yeah, it's 8 Mile.
Okay, I'm making
Yeah.
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm making
Yeah.
sure you know that. Fuck
Well,
a
the
Papa
OGs
Doc.
of the Xbox party know the rest of that line.
Exactly.
I see.
Everybody.
But no,
knows
what was the
that.
last part that's not? It's okay for TV. Yeah, no, but no. What was the last one? No,
Tommy.
I hit the pop and lock. Something in my socks. Something like that.
No, that was.
Threw up in my shoe. That's a
called
sick sock.
Because we
Threw
were
up
making
in
fun
my
of,
shoe. Call it a
making
sick
fun of
sock.
the Migos song.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah, we were.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
That's good. We should have done there.
We were
Look,
talking
we
about
just
the
we
Paul
talked about
Bros,
the Paul Bros. You
unfortunately.
were gonna make an analogy with hip hop.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I would compare the Paul brothers content creation,
Mm-hmm.
at least exploding it in today's youth's minds. The marijuana culture that Snoop Dogg had around him
Yeah.
kind of got overshadowed for a little bit as we were growing up, and who brought it to light after that? What's the one person that's new that you?
Oh, Wiz
I mean, I
Khalifa
guess
for
Wiz
sure.
really
took the
he
torch.
really
Yeah.
brought back
took
like
the-
weed
yeah,
rap.
He took
Yeah.
the torch. So I would compare
Literally.
the
He lit a
old,
joint
And
with
he
it,
lit
yeah.
the dad
I
with
would
it. Yeah, let's
compare
go.
the old content creators
To the old
is
school
to
Snoop.
to the old school Snoop,
And then Wiz brought back that whole
to the Paul
Rasta
Brothers, which
lifestyle.
is horrible. That's pooping on Wiz. Wiz doesn't deserve that type of
True,
analogy.
yeah.
But in the same sense, I'll say it's like that.
Wiz
It's
is
just new
alright.
age,
Yeah,
and like
it's-
their content is, I don't get it.
It's dumpster. It's dumpster.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
weird
not
what
real content.
I
attracts
don't-
children though. Like
Yeah, it's
this
pointless.
like attracts
It's
the
just for
children.
kids, it's
It
all it
works
is.
though. Why
It's
do
for
kids want
kids
to go watch
and
this
Tommy.
stuff? I don't get what makes it so clickable. Like what? Not just because some
Because
of the
it's-
Paul Brothers stuff is actually okay. Like I can actually listen to some of the impulsive podcasts. I'm like, hey, it's just normal dudes talking.
'Cause
But like
these
their
kids
older
believe it.
content
Factor,
was.
man.
These
I'm
kids
telling
believe
you.
it. The fake scary prank shit that they run into. The kids believe that is legit.
Oh yeah, they believe all the clickbait. They say.
Yeah, the clickbait is
Prank call gone run at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Nightmare
that
version.
shit,
Clickbait.
dude. Who's really watching
And it's got like 30
that
million
garbage?
views. 30
Clickbait
million
is literally
views. How many of
just
those are
that.
bots?
Clickbait. It gets
Yeah.
you to click, and they make the same 6 faces in every single one. of them.
Tommy, if you want to talk,
I've
turn
seen
your
it.
fucking mic
the
on.
same image.
Oh, dude.
the
The
same,
Same
image.
image.
He literally
What
got
do you
it.
mean it's
Just
gonna
a different
his face?
background,
Yep.
different name.
He just rotated it to the other side. He
Like,
flipped
we
the
come
image,
through
you know?
Yeah,
yours?
dude, it's so
Yeah.
it's literally so.
We
bad.
just won't talk.
I think it is dumb.
Yeah, just turn off our mics when you want it. Actually, you're not that important.
No,
you
you
don't
don't
get
have to do that.
power.
You don't have to do that.
You
I'm
don't get
saying
that
when you turn
power.
your mic on, we won't talk.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a fair analogy to make to the Paul Brothers. I don't want to spend much more time on them. They've had
it's-
plenty of media coverage
Yeah.
all over everything in the past,
They're not going away.
They're not.
I'll tell you that. Expect more.
especially with this whole boxing debacle.
Yeah.
It's just not going to go
That's
away.
why. That's why they're not going
It's
away.
an easy.
anytime
It's an
soon.
easy money fight. Even UFC fighters are coming to box them
Yeah.
to make money.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just about making money. They don't give a fuck who wins.
The
Yeah.
reverberations are spreading into the UFC as well, with like fighters now holding out for better pay, and it's
Yeah.
creating like real issues within
Yeah,
the company.
that's literally a problem.
And it's crazy. Some kids on YouTube, they
Mm-hmm.
started this.
Yeah. So now we can talk about Dr. D and Ninja, because I'll tell you what, Ninja did blow up overnight.
He
and
did.
you know whose stream he was on more often than not? Dr. Disrespect. Him
Yeah.
and Ninja played Fortnite a lot together before Ninja blew
Before
up.
Ninja got real big.
Really?
Honestly,
Yeah.
Ninja gained traction through DayZ and PUBG.
Until Fortnite.
No, not DayZ.
No, I think
H1N1.
I think you're right.
H1Z1?
It's like whatever.
H1Z1.
Swine flu virus.
H1Z1.
Yeah, it was
King of the
H1Z1
Hill.
to the
King of the
King of the Kill
Yeah.
is where he got
Him and
he
Dr.
gained traction
Disrespect,
from that. Yeah.
Because Dr. Disrespect was big
And that was all
on
of his
H1Z1.
all of the
Yep.
the best little snippets and memes from him. They all come from that.
Did y'all ever
Of him
play?
just screaming at
him,
little
like,
kids.
Super
That's
toxic.
the
Yes.
best, bro. Those are the
Yes.
best videos. And then that little meme of him saying, "Don't bully people," and then it's just him screaming at a little
Go
kid.
kill yourself.
Don't make fun of people. Do you kiss your mom with that mouth, you piece of shit? Like this screaming at kids,
Yep.
little kids too, like
You know-
screaming at 5-year-olds.
You know one we lost?
Tell me we lost.
A beautiful
Soul.
set of videos we lost to either getting taken down because the content was
Monetization,
yeah,
demonetization.
demonetized or just taken down overall or deleted
Copyright
because you
strikes.
can't find them anymore. Is the SpongeBob edited videos?
You
Really?
you can only find one.
Is it Grandma's Cookie?
Yeah, Grandma's ass cheeks is the
They're
only
all
one you can
gone.
find.
What?
Dude, that was the greatest
That's
series.
crazy, man.
They have taken all of them down
Have you
because they're
seen the
insanely
SpongeBob
offensive.
I mean, they
Crazy
are
offensive.
They are. They could not
They
be
are
made today.
never could be made today.
Yeah.
They're
But they
canceled
were great.
immediately.
They
Cancel
were.
culture has got you.
They were.
The SpongeBob anime? What now?
Have you seen SpongeBob? Dude, it's actually legit. It's pretty funny.
Oh yes, I have seen clips.
So let's talk about Dr. Disrespect, who has exploded the streaming culture.
Oh yeah, he's transcended all of gaming. He's a personality everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
He sells comics. He sells books. I mean, he does everything. He does motivational speeches. When he shows up to awards, or when he shows up to events to get an award, he is still Dr. Disrespect. He doesn't even. He's
No.
never Herschel
He's
Beam,
known
even
as
when he's
Dr.
accepting an
Guy.
award.
Is it
Yep.
Guy? Is it
It's Herschel Guy.
Beam?
Yeah, it's Herschel Guy Beam. He goes by Guy.
When you say
6'8".
Herschel, I think of
The
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
It's so fucking sad.
When Herschel shows up.
Yeah, true.
the
I
place
wish you
goes
thought
down.
about it in the comic book form and not the trash ass show.
I know it's different.
The
in
first
comics.
couple seasons weren't terrible.
No, they were good. I watched the first 3 or 4, and then
The first 4.
and then trust me, I
Up to the
tried
jail was good.
multiple times to get
The
past that,
jail
and I
is
never
when
could.
a lot of people started falling off.
I will say the same. The jail is when the writing got worse.
It did
Yeah.
get worse.
It got significant. It's like almost the last couple seasons.
Also,
like
Robert
they're trying
Kirkman
to
barely
kill the
had
show.
shit to do with the show after that. He's the creator of The Walking Dead. By the way, he's born and raised in Louisville. Everybody knows that, right?
No,
I'm
I
not.
didn't know that.
See what I'm saying?
That's
Y'all
what's
don't even
up.
know
Talk
shit.
about J-Law?
Respect. Respect.
Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead and
Yeah.
the writer, he is from Louisville. That's why all the characters in the comic And the games take place from Louisville, Kentucky, but in the show they all take place in Georgia. He's one of the By the way, do you guys know who Robert Kirkman is? You don't know the fuck that is. That's a problem if you don't know who that is.
You're gonna find I don't know much.
What school did he go to?
Dude, he's one of the biggest horror writers ever. You don't know who Robert Kirkman is.
I don't pay
Literally,
attention a lot to
motherfucker
who
lives in
creates
Louisville.
things.
He's like super. He has got a whole street to himself in Louisville.
What?
Well, so does Muhammad
Jesus
Ali.
fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
guys-
say Muhammad Ali. That's really like probably the biggest
God
name
damn.
from Kentucky that I can
No,
think
the
of.
biggest name is.
Either way,
Clint-
Robert Kirkman was an EP
Clint
in the
Eastwood.
show until the fourth season, and he stopped fucking with the show at all. He had nothing to do with it, and he just wrote the comic. So he has made statements saying, if you don't like the show, that shit's got nothing to do with me, because I don't fuck with the show anymore.
Smart move.
And the comic just ended. He wrote the last comic, or the last comic was put on shelves like over a year ago. So the comic series just ended, and the show's going to end very soon, but the spinoffs will just keep going.
And the thing, what was weird is they added. Wasn't Daryl the character added into the show?
Yeah, he's not even real. Yeah, Daryl has nothing to do with the comics. He's a character they
really?
invented for the show.
Yeah. And
know that.
he's still around. I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
He became a
well,
fan
he's going to be
favorite.
the main. Well, he's the
He
main
was one of
character
my
in the
favorites.
fucking spinoff. Yeah,
Yeah. Him and Glenn were my original OGs.
Glenn isn't a Glenn's from the
And
comics.
I'm not gonna lie, I did like Shane. The dude.
Shane, yeah.
Everyone
yeah.
loves
I
Shane.
did like Shane.
And
a
he
lot.
was, in fact, John Bernthal is an amazing
And he
fucking
is,
actor.
yes.
And when
Big
they decided to
respect
kill
on his
him
name.
off, they fucked up big time. Now, if they're staying canon to the comic, which they were going to, because Kirkman was still around at that time, yeah, you're going to kill off Shane. But Bernthal held the whole show together. And when I was
He's just a
watching
solid
that
actor,
shit,
man.
The back and forth between him and Rick was great.
yeah,
It was.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
real.
great.
You could
I mean,
feel
he was
the
more popular in the
intensity.
show than he was in the comic because they made him more of a centralized character in the show. And I was like, I recommend they don't kill him off. I recommend they don't. And I had read all the comics at that time and was like, well, if you're going to go by the comic, you got to kill him. But I was
Spoiler
really
alert, by the way.
recommending that they did not kill him off because he held the whole show together. But they did, and season 3 was very lackluster without him.
But you didn't have to. But that's a hard thing to forgive someone for, you know.
Oh no,
Yeah,
he
put
has
them
to
in
die.
the
The show
yeah,
can't continue if he doesn't die. You have nothing.
Man, good show. Walking Dead was a great show for 4 seasons. 4 seasons, maybe 5 seasons.
Yeah, after that, not that.
What a shame.
incredible.
It was great for 3 seasons.
And
the
what's
rest
a
was
great
awful.
zombie show since then? Nothing has really hit.
It's
the
not.
same
It
way
hasn't
as
kind of part
Walking
of
stuck.
that. It was
It
kind
hasn't
of-
stuck because that's
It was part of that
the
era.
wave exactly. That culture of zombie apocalypse TV and movies and games and that shit all resurged big time with The Walking Dead.
Only
and
reason
being as
I know
popular as it
AMC.
did.
Literally the only reason.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
AMC theaters.
Breaking
but
Bad as well.
whatever. Yeah, I do.
There was a massive zombie resurgence, and it happened in 2010 when the Walking Dead TV show hit. The comics didn't really make it. In fact, the comics sold more after the show came out. When the show came out and people learned what the
A
comic was,
solid
then they
game
went
that
back.
came from that is State of Decay. That era.
I have
That's
not
what I'm saying.
played
A lot of
those
a
games.
lot
Decay
of
was
random
good.
zombie
Yeah.
games came out
Survival
because of
zombie
The
game
Walking
was
Dead.
good. Back to Dr. Dis.
I'm upset that you guys don't know who Robert Kirkman is. That does bother me. You
I
should
can
know
tell.
who that is.
I can tell.
You're from fucking
I
Kentucky and you don't know who that is.
I
who that
don't.
is.
Need to go to Kentucky History Museum or something. And
I mean, if you
see who,
even know what the show is, you
big.
should know who the creator of it is.
Well, I don't pay attention to who creates it.
God damn. So I'm assuming you've also never read one of his comics either.
No, never. I don't read comics.
No.
just get up and leave.
Oh,
The rest
yeah,
of the
exactly.
podcast. I see this.
I'm not saying you have to be some avid comic book reader, and I mean more of a he writes graphic novels, not comics. I don't mean superhero comic books. That's not what the fuck I'm talking about.
I know.
I'm talking about like 100-page graphic novels that are. That's all. I don't fuck with comic books at all. That's never been my thing. Even as a kid, I didn't give a shit about them. But he writes like really good graphic novels, and one of them is more of a comedy. It's called Battle Pope, and it's about how the Pope at nighttime actually slays demons, and it's
great.
fucking hilarious.
That's a
Where's
solid
that
idea.
season?
I'm not gonna
Where's
lie.
that show?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I want that.
It's fucking hilarious. He's ripped. Like, he's an old man during the day, and then at nighttime when they're like, good night, he rips off his fucking cloak, and he's
I feel like that could be like a
and
Family
he
Guy
kills
segment
demons.
almost.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it definitely could.
It could definitely be a
It could
Family
be
Guy
a full
segment.
skit, a full-on skit. Oh, it could be a
Fucking
full-on
Battle
show.
Pope.
You know.
Some other ones we have wrote it down.
Wrote it down.
Is
Routed.
Ninja, Dr. D, Tim T, Shroud. Another one I'll add on there is Summit. Summit 1G.
Summit
Summit
1G.
1G. Yeah, he's up there.
But the thing is, these guys have been creating for a while.
Summit
Yeah,
1G
but they're a
definitely.
part
Tim
of the new
definitely.
age streaming.
Nick,
Like,
yeah.
they are.
They're part of the new age
Shroud
streaming
didn't get
wave.
massive till a couple
Twitch
years ago.
streaming is like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the new wave.
Yeah, Justin.tv, what it used to be.
Yep.
Justin TV.
Nobody cared back then, but if you were streaming back then, you didn't even have to be great. If you continued the longevity and continuity of you continuing to create going into Twitch, most of the guys that stuck with it from then to now are popular, are the big streamers. And they've caused a huge wave of everybody wanting to be a streamer, because now what they make is coming to light. The content creators, when they do both, it's coming to light how much they actually make, and people are like, "Holy shit! I could go and play games. I could go and play games and just talk to people, and I can make this massive amount of money." When all reality, it's not that easy.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of
work. Yeah.
I've tried 4, 5, 6 times to start up streaming, and it is so much work. There's no time for it. You have to devote a lot of your time to it.
Yes.
Like, when you start, you have to be so regularly scheduled. You have to be 6 to 8 hours a day to start out and get your image, your voice, your name at least touching a piece of any part that these bigger guys have. Because when you try and stream these bigger games, you have to start out streaming lesser games.
Yeah, you got to stream games that no one knows anything about.
Too.
That way, if someone searches that game, you're the only one playing it.
Yeah.
That's how you got to start.
Yeah.
And then, but what sucks with that, I'll say, is you can run into people that are watching you specifically because they enjoy this game, and you might get stuck in this one type of game that you may not even like to play, and you just picked it because people are watching. So it kind of sucks, because when you try and transition into these other games that these bigger streamers are playing, your community will then start to fall off because they no longer like what you're doing. Maybe you say I'm playing Remnant from the Ash, and there's a community built around me that really likes my Remnant from the Ash's gameplay. I could get away with maybe Outriders now, because Outriders is sort of in that same wavelength. But to switch it up fully and go to like a COD, that community might not enjoy COD streaming, because COD streaming has become such a clusterfuck of people, everybody playing it and doing some type of it. So the FPS, the third-person shooters, all the shooters are very tough, or at least online, are very tough to get your foot even close to in the door. To have somebody holding open the door for you and they shut it too early. So trying to find these little niche games, it's even hard to do that, because there's so many other people going off of that same blueprint. They're like, what game has no traction that I can play for at least a small percentage
and it's
to come search me?
still like marketable enough that people want to watch
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like, do I waste my time, this sounds horrible, but do I waste my time 6 to 8 hours out of the day playing a game I don't like to get maybe 3 viewers by the end of the week?
Right.
It's not worth your time. You would rather, and then that's also, some people don't enjoy the multi-way chat.
Oh,
So
yeah,
like
true.
having other people chat, like when I streamed, I had you all the time in my chat, because that's where I felt most comfortable. Some people may not like that, so they may stay away from your stream because you're not just straight up streaming. But let me tell you, you have to be a conversationalist or a communication major or something to just talk.
Yes,
To just
you
talk.
have to engage your audience. If you
Yeah.
just never mess with them at all, nobody's going to watch you.
No, it's very
And
difficult.
that's why it's not just playing games. Like
It's
everybody
not.
thinks it is. It's not just playing games. You have to be interactive.
You have to be interactive. You have to be entertaining.
And to be interesting, yeah.
And then what Dr. Disrespect did, it is created a whole separate character that's nothing like him. So he could open up on stream and make this character how he wants it.
Smart.
So, and the thing, what's really smart about that is because he's now just cornered the market on it. Anybody who tries to create a character is just going to be seen like they're
Dr.
just
D
trying
ripoff.
to copy this blueprint.
Big
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So he managed to corner the market on creating his own personality / character for streaming, which is very smart, because then you don't take that. You can be that person all day, and then when you get off, you can be a normal person. Like you can be the person with your family. So he split it into 2 separate people, which is incredible.
No, he's actually just a method actor.
Yeah.
He's Dr. D
The
all
whole
the time.
time. Yeah.
His wife is just so sick of
resume
it.
building. He's going to be on big screen soon.
Yep.
He actually has done some stuff behind
The facilities are so fucking funny. Like when he goes into when he goes
Yeah.
on other camera angles and he just sits in front of the camera and he's like in his facility.
Yeah,
that shit is
so
fucking
dumb,
hilarious,
man.
dude.
I love it.
When he's like, we're in the Game Fuel gym, and there's like, oh my god,
His intro
Literally
is
just walk to a small room with
where he's in his Lamborghini, his red
his new
Lamborghini
intro
intro.
is his face
Fire.
turned the wrong way in the Lamborghini, and
Always.
he's driving down the road this way, and he's turned like this with his car going this way.
Always.
And you can tell that his shoulders are facing that way. It's incredible.
Oh yeah,
That
Dr.
shit's
D
hilarious.
in the Lambo.
Next
hilarious.
level, man.
He's always talking about how tall he is. Anytime he's in like the full body shot, he's always like 6'8", 250. Like he's always listing off what he is.
47 inch.
Yeah, 47 inch vertical. Like all the time.
That's just filler though, because you got to think.
Yeah,
this man
he's-
has been doing it for 3-4 years, but consistent 3-4 years. You run out of shit.
Yeah, anytime
to
someone
talk
talks
about.
shit about him, he's like, "What is this guy? 5'9"? Huh? 145?
Blonde hair,
He can do it
25
in
inch
his
vertical.
sleep. His brain could be completely
He's
shut off, and he's still gonna
anytime
mumble out these
someone
insults.
talks about him.
You know,
You go blonde hair, ponytail.
Yeah.
Every time.
What is he? Huh?
go back home, kid. You know.
Because like honestly, people, it's kind of weird, but people do beef with him in the streaming community, which is odd, because you're beefing with the character. Like he doesn't actually dislike you, but he does piss people off. Because it's like, where's that line, right? I'm talking to you
Him and
as someone
Tim.
who wants to collab, and you're just responding to me as a character.
Yeah,
Where does this
true.
break off?
Yeah, true.
And then they'll talk shit about him on their stream, and then that's the first thing he'll do. Oh, that guy? Huh? What? 5'9"? Like he just keeps going. He
Him and
never
Tim
stops.
have good back and forth. Him and
They
Tim
do.
the Tatman, they are great.
I love them
the
too.
fact when he
Because
when
Tim
he got
sucks.
split
That's
from
why they're
Twitch,
great.
True,
Because
yeah,
Tim
he
is
can
so
just get
bad and it's so
berated
fun
and
to
laugh it off.
laugh at Tim.
When Dr. Disrespect split from Twitch and then they banned him from
Yeah.
even being
That's
seen.
tough, man.
Dude, him and Tim had such good chemistry. I loved watching their shit together because
Same.
they just shit talk each other. And
Yeah,
it's
that's all
funny
they do.
Because Tim is Tim. Tim is Tim Tatman on and off screen, I feel
exactly. No, yeah, that's
like.
really him.
That is actually him. But
Yep.
Dr. Disrespect is, as his name says, and is just disrespectful. It's great. And the fact that they do stuff to each other, like tweet at each other while they're streaming, that's
Phenomenal.
hilarious. Like on 2 separate platforms. Like there was one stream I watched where he like made Tim into an egg in a carton. He got on Photoshop on stream, Dr. Disrespect did, and was Photoshopping him into stupid shit. And then
I
would
love
tweet
it.
it
I love it.
and wait for a response.
Makes me so happy.
How do you ban somebody's name?
That's
How-
actually quite common.
how-
People ban people's names in chat all the time.
No.
It'll
How
just.
do you ban it as a company?
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, I thought
They-
you meant like in
they-
chat.
they can't
Streamers
even
ban
mention it.
people's names in chat all the time.
That's true. I don't know what's up with that. That's why it's extra funky around
They
his
still- they
release.
still-
No,
I
no
know,
one
and
will
they
ever
never
know.
will.
And that's the whole point. No one will ever know the truth because they'll never talk about it.
What?
Dr. D knows the truth. He won't talk about it because he understands that there's a business side to this.
And he's already made the.
There's
full
legal
switch.
shit that he's not going to talk about, that Twitch won't talk about because they're just not.
Recently checked into it within the last month because it was so big back in like December, January when it was all happening, and then it kind of just died off. And we just knew that whatever, he moved to YouTube, and then that's where he's been streaming. But it was now like what the main story is that's going around is that he was reaching out to Mixer to try and get leverage for his new Twitch contract that he was going to get paid.
Yeah.
The word is that he wanted more than that because he knew what Shroud and Ninja were making over on Mixer.
Yeah.
So he reached out to Mixer to get leverage, to get something written and say like, hey, they'll pay me this. And then Twitch, I guess, did not like that. Now that's the rumor.
Because
I've heard other
they
rumors
said that
as
he
well,
breached his contract.
but that it was going to cost
There was
too
a-
much
yeah.
for him. But I think that makes sense though. If you do reach out and you're already like working with this company, if they want to, they can just. All right, forget you then.
And Mixer's
the
dead,
time-
right? Mixer got bought
Mixer's
out.
dead. But at the time,
and that was
of-
it. It was 2 weeks before Mixer shut down. That's
Yeah.
when this news came.
But it
Hilarious.
doesn't seem like that'd be much of a contract.
Which
And it
was
doesn't- it
Mixer
doesn't add
owned by
up because
Microsoft?
Mixer-
Tommy,
Facebook.
who owned Mixer? Facebook?
I don't know.
I don't know, but Mixer like.
Owns them right now.
I thought it was a Microsoft thing.
There's
right?
no way that they're gonna give.
It is. That's what I,
I think
thought.
it was,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
it was. Yeah.
They're not gonna be given good offers if they
But-
know they're shutting
'Cause
down.
you could
in
go
a
live
couple
on
weeks.
Mixer on your Xbox anytime you wanted to.
But think about this. At the time of the contract breach, was nearing the end of his contract.
Right.
So why can he not reach out to other companies if he wants to switch?
I don't know.
I think he was advanced in talks for his new contract
They said
already,
that he
and there was
reached his
already
contract.
some stuff signed.
Oh, okay.
So that's the.
There was
Because
another
the-
rumor that he was trying to start his own streaming service,
I heard
and
that
he was
was
trying to
also
get people on board.
The big one that people believed for a while was the salary cap that Twitch had.
Yeah.
They wanted to clear some to get
So they can
Ninja
bring
and
people
Shroud
back.
back.
Which they did because
did.
Mixer shut down. Apparently, Twitch knew Mixer was going to shut down, so they needed to. They would rather have Niche and Shroud on there. What I say?
Niche.
and Shroud.
Ninja.
They would rather have Ninja and
Ninja.
Shroud on there than just Dr. D. So
Yeah.
they're like, okay, well then we'll cut him. We'll find a way around it.
Do you really though?
But does
like,
anyone
maybe
really
you
know?
want to bring Shroud in, but like, do you really want to replace Doctor Disrespect with Ninja? From a business
Ninja does have a.
perspective?
He's got a lot bigger audience. So
Does he now?
I don't know.
Anymore?
He might not now
Not
because
anymore,
Fortnite's
'cause
pretty much
Fortnite's
dead.
dying off.
And
That's what I'm
also,
saying.
Epic doesn't give they don't give a shit as far as the competitive side of Fortnite goes.
As long as people
Epic's
are
never
still
given a
buying
fuck
it.
about esports.
Yeah.
They just want to keep it a
Paragon.
casual game. Like
Still gonna
Fortnite
mention it every
tournaments, esport like
Could've
Fortnite
been.
esports is not a fucking thing. It's a joke.
It was real.
Prize
for a little
pools
while,
are like
though.
$50,000. What multimillionaire wants to compete for a $50,000 prize pool that they win like $5,000 of? They
I
don't care.
know, man. It was really big. The 2016 World Cup was like $1 million to that 16-year-old kid. He won first place solos and got $1 million, and then like the winning team got like $3 million or something like that. The trios team, but if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, but since then it's only
just a
gotten
couple
worse.
months ago, they were still like a $850,000 pot, like their big tournament.
I'm just saying the issue
But I
that
agree,
all
it's just
professional
dying.
Fortnite
Is it-
streamers say is that
is it-
Epic does not care about comp. They don't give a shit
yeah.
about
Is
the
it a
competitive.
communal
They don't
pot?
care about esports. They don't
Where the
care
top-
about
It's gonna
MLB
be
split
850
it?
total in prize, but yes,
That means
winnings-
everyone splits it.
Yes.
That
So
doesn't mean
that's
that's
the
what you
problem.
win.
There's not a set prize for each person.
No, there
Is
is.
it based off of how much is paid in?
No, it's
No.
So, like these tournaments are like the OG, like you are the best in your region. So now you've moved up through your brackets. You know, you got to qualify on all these pre-qualifier tournaments, and then if you place whatever top 10, you move on until you're in the very best. And even the last, I don't remember
Like,
how they
Also
break it down.
remember
But
these
it's like
are not LAN events either.
1
That's, once
through
again,
20,
Epic doesn't
they
give a
get
fuck
all
about
these,
their
and then
comp.
the other teams get a set amount no matter what. You get an amount just for qualifying, just for being there.
Yeah.
So, and it was fat for the World Cup. I think it's like 50,000.
And if
Like
you
even
ain't
just
getting
making
good,
it,
then you
you
better
get paid.
get better.
But it is dying.
Yeah, well,
It is
Fortnite
dying.
doesn't have LAN events. People
Yeah.
hate that too. If you want to have a true championship of champions, do a LAN event. Don't do these online tournaments that are not secure and no one fucking. I'm telling you, man, the reason why Fortnite is dying is because the professional streamers are moving away from it because they all say Epic doesn't give a fuck about comp, so they don't want to play the game anymore.
I think it turned too sweaty. It turned the streamers who were good, like even the streamers who were good, all their complaints started being, I'm tired of fucking sweating every time I play this game. I'm
Yeah.
not tired. I didn't turn this game on today to just get mad, pissed off, and like go 12 hours without winning once, you know, because they're in these high SBMM lobbies where now you're playing little
They're
Timmy
in
cracked up
SBMM
off of Adderall.
pubs,
and he's
correct?
just as good as you are. Yes,
That's the problem as
Yes,
well. That's
they
what they
can't
say. They
even
don't
go
give. They don't
slay
want to do
anymore.
that.
So SBMM.
It's
A
always been a
recurring
fucking
issue.
problem.
Yeah.
And all FPSs and third-person shooters
This
as well.
just comes back to
Just
how-
any competitive shooter, SBMM has always been a problem. And for whatever fucking reason, it's really publishers, won't listen to the fans that say don't put SBMM in your game. But they do it for a reason. It's for the casual community. You're never not going to have SBMM. They have to have it because casual players won't stick around. They have to have it.
Yeah, because then there becomes pub stomping. And
Yeah, no, they want the casual newbies to buy their game and stick around.
Yeah.
They want casuals to buy a bunch of micro DLC. They need you getting on Call of Duty every day buying that new $10 skin pack so that you can play on Nuketown 24/7 and go 5-10 and enjoy yourself. They need that really, really fucking bad.
So true. It's a sad reality.
yeah.
It's like, I have like a 1.2 KD and you're only playing kids with YouTube and
you've
Twitch TV in their
spent
name.
hundreds of dollars on the game, getting all these customizable.
Oh, it's so
skins.
sad, bro. Have you ever played on someone else's account and seen how strong SBMM is? When I was
I
grinding
made
BO4,
new accounts and I was like, "Fuck, this is awesome!" And then it's only like a month before.
when I
I'm
was
like, oh, this
grinding
sucks.
BO4 early when the game first released, I was grinding the shit out of BO4's like ranked, and I got really high, like really really quick. And my SBMM was super fucking high because I had like 580 like score per minute. My KD was really high. Well, I went over to Max's house. Okay, now he hadn't put a lot of time into the game. His SBMM was going to be very very low. And this was like right before we went to Vegas. And I was like, I'm going to play a couple games while we're just waiting to leave. And the first lobby I got into, like, kids didn't have hands. They had never held a controller in their life. It was the ugliest shit I'd ever seen. I had never had an easier time on a shooter ever. Like, I wasn't even getting shot at. Like, it was impossible to die because the people I was playing have never touched this game before, because the SBMM, there was zero, there was no pool. And you can, like, in your lobby, you can look up people's, like, combat records. Like, these kids had a total of 27 kills, like, on their account. And I was like, yeah, these are people that just got this game today.
Yep.
And it was like, and then it's like, okay, let me hop on my account. I'm only playing kids with diamond skins, with fucking phase in their clan tag,
Yep.
TTV. Yeah, dude, SBMM is a fucking disaster. Everybody hates it. It's always been a fucking problem.
If your goal isn't to be the best at the game,
Tommy, what do you think about SBMM?
What was what?
That's good.
Fucking
That's
stupid.
good
that's
enough.
solid. That was a good input.
I think we just shut it down there for segment 1.
Yeah, I
we're gonna
think
take a
that's
short
pretty good.
intermission, and we're gonna be back with
Yep.
segment 2. So
We are going to take about a, what, you want to say 5-10 minute intermission?
5-10 at
Sure,
most.
yep.
But we'll go ahead and close down this episode with this. If you ain't getting good, then you better get better.
Exactly.
Sweater.
Welcome back, friends and listeners. I'm your host. Or actually, we're your hosts. Spongy Kitten.
Yeah, that's fine.
Peppy Pony, that's me.
Ooh.
And the Yam Burglarson. And you're listening to the Get Gooder podcast. What are you doing?
Yeah. And if you ain't getting good, you better get better.
Yep,
exactly.
If you didn't hear it, then you didn't hear it. Sorry.
Okay, so today, well, not today, now.
True.
Now.
Yeah.
In the
Now that
second
we're
iteration.
back.
It is the second
that.
iteration
Welcome
and also
back.
the second iteration. It's the double iteration. And it's iteration.
We're
It's
going
the
deep.
itinerary of the finerary. What we're going to talk about right now
Inception.
I liked
is we're going to do a game generator again. I think this is EP2.
Game Generator EP2.
EP2. And this one, there is no notes. Zero. Before we had a little bit of knowledge of what we were going to kind of talk about. This is right off the dome. So this is full-on round table. We talk to each other about making a game, and we have to agree upon it with no prerequisite to what we're talking about right now. So let's open it up. Let's go right off the bat. Genre. What genre do you all want to make this one? The last one was an open world RPG? I think it was. It was called Conquest.
Yeah, our action
Conquest.
adventure. Yeah, open world action adventure.
I can't
open world action
remember.
adventure.
I can't. Yeah, it was called Conquest.
Conquest.
And then we had some notes on that one beforehand.
Yeah, but now we have zero notes.
No.
So I was honestly thinking about taking survival horror to a different level of what it already is. Not like it is now, where it's like a very, very story-driven survival horror, because that's kind of what Resident Evil is, right? It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
very
story-driven
narrative-driven,
survival horror, but I want to take it to the next level. I know if you get into the hardcore modes and the impossible modes, you do kind of get more survival-y than that, but I want to take it a step further than that. And you all can say yes or no, because this is a roundtable discussion, and I will be sure to disregard what you said, because this is my
Exactly.
podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Spongy Kitten podcast.
All right.
The only podcast where you kitten more spongy.
Yep.
Okay.
No. So I think here's my mindset on this. I want to take the survival part more deep into an actual survival, because I feel like a lot
When
of
you die in the game, you die
Like
in real
material.
life.
Exactly. Hook
Yeah.
yourself up.
Because I feel like a lot of survival horror, the survival part more comes from living, from escaping these things. Is that right or is that wrong?
Inventory management as well.
Yeah.
The best survival horror games have inventory management big
Yeah.
time, and you only get the bare minimum to survive.
But I'm talking about like survive, like literally find rations to eat while you're playing the game or you die.
Well, what would it be? Like, are we talking zombies, demons,
That's
ghosts?
to decide right now
Just to decide as we go around
as
the
we
table.
go around. So I'm saying survival, and yes, still have the inventory management, but like it could even come from like, oh, you're out of breath, you're like dehydrated from running for too long from this enemy.
Yeah.
You have to hide.
Are you talking about the game that never ends? Are you talking like a survival horror MMO,
No, no.
like Days or 7 Days to
No,
Die kind of
it'll
thing?
still be sort of story driven, but I want the survival aspect.
It's a
to actually
single
be
player
survival.
survival horror game.
And I want the inventory management to come in where, yeah, this guy's chasing
You only have so much you can carry. You got to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you choose what you can carry. Make sure that it's going to help you, and there's not a lot of it. Like that's
Yep.
what the best survival horror games have.
And the hide factor is still in there. I want you to be able to go hide, and oh, you found an apple that gives you fucking hunger, +6 hunger and +7 hydration, whatever, just going off of these random numerics. You now have, say your inventory's full, you now have to drop that. You have to drop something, pick that up, eat it, and then go hide again. You see what I'm saying? I mean, not as simple as that, but like, oh, you found a bottle of water 3 houses over. So how, and this guy's walking the street. How can you stealthily get over there, pick that up, eat that, and then sort of progress back through the game? Does that sound like a good idea? Because if not, because now that I'm saying it out loud, it doesn't
Well,
really
what
sound
is,
like that
like,
great of
it-
a concept.
Is
Concept.
DayZ like ish?
That's what
kinda
I'm
similar
saying. Like,
to what you're.
what you're explaining
'Cause that's
sounds a lot
the
like 7
closest-
Ways to Die or DayZ.
That's the closest that I'm getting to it. Like
Yeah.
thinking of real resources and like really having, but it's all zombie related stuff.
Yeah,
and it's,
but DayZ has become more. DayZ blew up because, in my mind, of Frankie on PC and 1080p. Did you ever watch any of his videos? He did a big Arma 2 DayZ mod sort of like collection. And I feel like the DayZ when it came out as a game, I feel like it didn't produce as well as DayZ the mod. Because the PvP aspect, because DayZ, I feel like relied more on PvP aspect.
Yeah, it was always the encounters with the other players that brought
But the
most
map
excitement.
was so massive, which is why Battle Royale works. And the first iterations of Battle Royale works because it took that same sort of survival situation and then you close everybody into a circle, and that's sort of how you get the first iteration of Battle Royale. But DayZ, I feel like, did not produce well as a standalone game. The DayZ standalone,
I would agree.
It didn't do as well because nobody wanted to play it PvP based. And then now you're just running around with these glitched ass zombies that are not that difficult to escape, or they glitch and hit you, and now you're bleeding and can't find anything. The loot spread out was insane. So I think the iterations of Battle Royale that were created from this, that spawning big loot and then having people fight to the end, that's a great concept, and that's why Battle Royale works. But if they would have added like a E aspect to the Battle Royale, a PvPvE, now you're getting somewhere. You're changing the game. Now that wave has already came and went, so the opportunity for that to happen is null.
Has it really happened on a like majorly successful scale though?
No.
The only thing I can think of is the zombies in the Call of Duty.
That's still
like,
PvP.
And that's PvPvE versus just the zombies in that area, right? The zombies would spawn.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
they could kill you, but really like that's kind of it. But
I thought you were talking about the zombie mode.
also, Fortnite did a little thing too, where like they'd have creatures spawn from crystals throughout the map, and it was okay, but it wasn't great. Like it wasn't a mode that you would pick over a different mode, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean,
I would like
could,
to see something like that.
You
like,
could get crazy
but
with
done
it
very
too.
well.
Because you could do PvPvE and like your
I think
group,
there's room for that right
your
now.
group could go fight a boss to get his drop, his rare,
Something,
his
yeah.
somewhat better loot drop. So now you have that E aspect, and of course this other team can come over, and then we're not. This is not what the game's going to be.
Yeah.
Or it could switch to it, but I'm still voting for survival horror, in a sense that we can change up some things to make it not better but different.
Survival horror, you know what I haven't seen a lot of in survival horror games, and I'm not an expert, right? We do have the resident survival horror expert here with us, with who can probably provide
He's
some
staying
insight.
very quiet right now, which means
I know
letting
he's
you guys
brewing
talk,
it
yeah.
up. But I think that in every, survival horror game that I've played, there's not really been many platforming experiences, or like the movement always kind of feels a little clunky in these games. And I understand, like, to some degree it's done intentionally, right?
Yeah.
But I would love to see a survival horror where movement was a huge part of it. And I don't know, it's tough to say that without like pointing out Dying Light or Dying Light 2, which is coming out, which is kind of what that is. But more platforming stuff in the survival horror, so I'd like to add some of that to the game.
Well, Dead Rising did it pretty good. They had their own. I wouldn't call that necessarily survival horror, would you though? Maybe the first one.
Yeah. The final like DR4 was more of a like hack and slash game.
Mm-hmm.
DR3 I would still consider survival horror. I mean it's very gimmicky. It's
Which
very
was the one in the
corny.
mall?
That's the very first one. That's survival horror, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a sandbox. Like DR1 is a sandbox survival horror. So is DR3. I mean they definitely are survival horror, but it's more of like an arcade horde based survival horror game. So you're just fighting waves and waves and waves and waves of enemies that never end. Like they're always going to be there. So you're trying to complete missions and finish the story while zombies are just all around you at all times, and you craft weapons and you craft healing items and things like that. But yeah, the game was considered survival horror. It was just a like sandbox arcade survival horror.
Then let's get away from survival horror, because the game that more than likely we're going to end up with survival horror is going to be, I feel like, close to Dead Rising.
You're talking about adding more movement into survival horror. Is your game going to be first person or third?
First, full immersion.
First person survival horror? All right, that's tough to do.
I would.
Your atmosphere's
personally
got to be perfect.
Like to see both, or a potential, and this is something
I
I'd
will
like
say
to see
most
in
survival horror games
too.
are third person.
Certain levels or certain parts of the game you would switch to a first person or switch to a third person. Like a chase scene, I can imagine being third person, and like you're seeing them like almost getting up to you.
But the immersion that comes from first person, if they're chasing you and you have no clue where they're at behind you, and then you can hit like a button or press a button, to peer over your shoulder to see where they're at, I think that would immerse you more, because then you're like, oh shit, they're right on my tail. I can't be wrong with what I'm doing.
First-person survival horror tends to be much, much less about combat and about, like, it's like a chain game. You just kind of, it just kind of pulls you through the game. You're just going from one area to the other with jump scares and story build. There's no real combat. You're just running away. Like, first-person survival horror tends to be you're hiding, you're running, you get jump scared, tight, claustrophobic places, very, very linear, narrative-driven. You're going from point A to point B with maybe you interact with some items in between to open a door, maybe an environmental puzzle. But any survival horror game that has extensive combat is always going to be third person, because there's not a whole lot you can do with survival horror combat in first person, which is why it was such a big deal that Resident Evil was so successful with it. RE7 and RE8 are both first person.
Yep.
Well, that's because there is a lot to that game's combat in first person. There's a lot of shit you can do with it, and that's not really easily. That's not easy done, or it's not easily done. Your atmosphere, your environment has to be perfect. Everything you build around that first person camera has to work. Because if you've now made your game first person, but nothing in the game reacts off of that, it's bad. It's bad.
But the points I want to hit on is I want to aim for the tens to be. I want to go against that. The most I want to go against that, because at the end of the day, we're not creating.
You want survival horror? Is the game based on the combat though? Is this a combat survival horror? Is it a running and hiding survival horror? Is it about?
Why can't you pick and choose?
I'm just saying. Are you gonna have in-depth combat mechanics, or is this game gonna literally just be about survival? Like, you get a gun or a knife, and you better hope you have enough bullets. And the only mechanic in this game is to point and shoot or to swing. You know what I mean?
We could give the option though. You can choose to go through this area quiet, which you can in some survival horrors, or you can choose to combat them. You know, you can choose to fight them if you wish to do that. We would have a more in-depth combat system that would agree with that, or you can go, run and hide from them.
Right.
And you get that option.
But what are they?
Is your game linear or not? If your game's linear, then you can't use stealth to get around your enemies.
Yeah.
If your game is linear, stealth is not really involved unless it must be. The only way stealth will be involved in a linear game is if it literally tells you, don't get caught in this area, and you have to stick to the shadows. If it gives it as an option to complete this area stealthily, then your game is not going to be linear, because the game will force you into combat. The game is going to enemies are spawned in. They're aware. You either run, dodge. You try to get away. You take some damage and you get away and you're alive, or you use everything you have to kill all of them in front of your path. Right. Mm-hmm. Specifically, Resident Evil forces you into combat scenario. There is no stealth.
Running through.
There is no stealth in linear survival horror games, because you are forced into combat. You have options of understanding how to group them in. It's all about, like, you're reacting to the enemy, right? You're always at a disadvantage. You have to react to the enemy. If they're going to be aggressive and chase you, let them chase you, right? Create spacing, run around them, dodge them, whatever. If you have enough ammo to fight them. If you're going to maybe take some damage and just heal later, then do it. But if you're talking about getting to an area where, okay, we're going to let the player decide if he wants to hide, if he even wants to fight at all, if he just wants to scavenge, this will be an open world game. If you want to give them options of scavenging and making camp and what weapons you're going to choose, that would be an open world game.
Well, then let's get away from survival horror. What's another genre?
I like the survival horror with a making camp kind of thing. I think it'd be an interesting game.
Now, I'm not saying we can't do survival horror. What I'm saying is, if you're talking about you want stealth, right? Mm-hmm. You want stealth in your game. You want the option to choose what you want to do. This cannot be a platformer. It cannot be a narrative-driven linear game. No way. It can't be claustrophobic. It can't be about tight areas. It can't be about making quick decisions. Because survival horror is about making a decision right now. They're right in your fucking face. What are you gonna do right now? If you're giving your player options, then your world must be open world, and you have to have the decisions.
But I wonder how horror-esque a survival horror open world would be.
It can be. I mean, you look at State of Decay and shit like that. You could just make it a lot darker.
But I would make the world gloomy. The environment.
It's your atmosphere is what makes the game.
But could you do a first-person open world survival horror?
I mean, you could. What game were you just talking about that does it very well? Was not Dead by Daylight?
Oh,
what's the fucking?
Dead by Daylight 2.
It is called Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, the movement.
Yes, that's a first-person open world survival horror game, and there's a lot of movement involved in that game. That game's a lot about parkour and getting away from your enemy, and when you have to fight, it's all first-person combat.
And Dead by Daylight 2 looks really good.
Well, do you add the? Here's the thing. You know I'm a big co-op guy. So do you add it
Yes.
as only single player, or do you add it as co-op as well?
Almost
Co-op
all
as
survival
well.
horror games are single player. That's the whole point of a survival horror game.
But
Is that you don't
boom.
want other people to play it with you.
Boom! Now you
You
can
have to do it by yourself.
But
Dead Space.
Dead Space
Yeah,
3
that's-
did it. which
Dead Space
took
3
away-
was, and that's why if you look it up, it's not under survival horror. The game is an action adventure.
I like that though, opening that experience up to now you can get scared as fuck with your buddy, you know. But it would have to
A
be
co-op story
a set
experience.
cutscene or something where
I
you
feel
both
like-
share the experience.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like based off of what I know of the other Dead Spaces, which I didn't play much of I played maybe a couple missions of Dead Space 1.
They're very different. Dead Space 1
Yeah.
and 2 are very different than
Yeah.
Dead Space 3.
I feel like they didn't put they focused more on the action more than they focused on the horror of the previous.
Yeah, of course
entries.
they did.
Which I understand.
It was
doing
also
that
more
from-
open. It was zone-based open world. You had side questing and very open areas and a lot of talking to NPCs. This was not in the first two games.
And I wish they would have just made it like a Dead Space 1, but with co-op, you know?
Yeah,
Because I feel
running
like if
through
you-
that mission with somebody.
Yeah, if you give that experience, if you give an actual survival horror experience with a co-op partner, I feel like that sort of would help with that.
I think so too, and
But-
it'd be unique in the way that it, you know.
And
there are not a lot of games out there like that.
I just feel like Dead Space 3 didn't hit the mark with it. I feel like I was just playing any other shooter game, third-person shooter game.
Yeah, the game is not. It's not a true survival horror game, but the story is still amazing and the atmosphere is very good. The game was made well. The game looks great. Like I said, the environment is done really well. The enemy creation, that's like they're so creative. Visceral Gaming is, because they were able to. Like the type of enemies that they create in those games, and it still feels tethered. You're not just fighting some arcade blob, you know. Like everything has an anatomy to it. The enemy that you just fought, you look up like a bio on it or something, or like you scan a document in the computer, and it'll tell you what that necromorph is and how. Like Resident Evil does a very good job of that shit too. Their enemy creation, that's huge in a survival horror game. Also, do you want cinematic survival horror? Or do you want, like I said, more of this kind of play-as-you-go experience? Like, if you want co-op, if you want a co-op cinematic experience, the game is probably going to have to be very linear. You know, if you want the game to play and feel like a movie, right? Everything's reacting in that moment because it's pre-rendered and things are predetermined. Then this needs to be linear.
It's like that jail game that just came out, where it's like a co-op game and you break out of jail. You know what I'm talking about? Did you guys play that?
Prison Break, or that's not called Prison Break, but it's
You know
literally
what I'm talking
called. I
about,
know
though.
exactly
Like
what you're
that
talking about.
kind of game,
It's
like,
a
I can
co-op
see-
break out of jail game.
I can see
Yeah.
that kind of game in a survival horror kind of genre, and
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting, at the least. But I think it could really be like successful too. It's
Yeah, it
just
could.
what are the enemies?
Yeah,
You
we've been
gotta
talking
make it
about they a lot, but
not
not specified.
Well, here's what we
generic.
know so far.
Zombies are easy, but
We are talking open world survival horror. This that can be done. It's not like it's never been done before.
Third person, first person. What do we decide?
You said you wanted first person
Okay, co-op, no co-op.
because you want it more. Well, if it's going to be open world, you can get away with co-op.
Okay.
Like I said, if you want co-op linear, the game must be very cinematic, tight spaces. You know.
yeah, it's
Quick
tough to
reactions.
make it a horror game too when you got your buddy to rely on, and like you start devising strategies, and you think of a game differently when you're playing with somebody else than if you're just
Yeah, it does. It
by
takes away a lot of the
yourself
horror
in
aspect
the
as soon
moment.
as you
Yeah.
make it co-op. That's why
I think so,
RE5 is not. Once again, Resident Evil 5 is not a
Well,
horror
then
game.
let's
Resident Evil
take-
6 is not a horror
Interesting.
game.
Let's take away the co-op then.
Okay, so you want single player,
If you-
open world,
Because I
first
want
person.
to really zone in on the survival aspect and the horror aspect.
Yeah, it's
But-
all about being alone.
Yeah, but
we could literally
below
call
it
the
up.
game Alone.
Yeah, let's do that. Alone.
Yeah, and there's no survivors in
And
this fucking game.
it's Squidward saying it
Yeah,
in the white space. And
there's
that's the
literally no survivors in the game. There's no NPCs. You never come across life. It is just you, just you trying to survive. And
Sounds like a terrible, like, no matter,
and-
even if you beat the game, it's going to be a depressing ending.
who cares? That's the
Like,
game.
everyone's
Yeah.
dead.
That's
no
true
matter
survival
what.
horror.
game. So Alone is the name of the game. So what's
Alone.
what's the they? So wait, let's go back over this. Alone,
Yeah,
survival horror.
yeah.
Did we decide on open world or
I say zone-based open world. Sandbox open world is going to make it like an MMO or
okay.
something.
Sandbox open world single
No,
player?
Zone-based-
zone-based open
Sorry,
world.
Zone-based
Zone-based
open world, and
open
I'd
world.
like to have it where like the zones change as you accomplish things throughout the game.
Yeah.
I like that.
Different
mechanic
things
in
react,
games.
yeah.
Like when you do something, now the whole area is different.
Yeah.
Your people are in here now. Or
So
these buildings are
adaptive
built up.
zone-based.
Are we doing a combative or a run?
Well, you said that you're going to have the choice, so that's why
Okay.
we've made the world zone-based
so
open world, so you're
the
going to be able
choice.
to.
Third person, first person.
First
First
I say
person.
we stick with first person if you want the immersion.
Okay. And I think that's where we're at now, right?
Okay.
So
we
now we
doing-
need the enemies.
What is they?
Are we
What is
doing
they?
zombies?
We'll have our own take on it.
So
They don't have to be zombies.
some like
Why don't we do like?
parasitic growth.
Why don't we do like
or
aliens?
the cordyceps virus mutated and now it took over everybody. And
You could literally do like.
Well,
you-
cordyceps.
aliens, I thought as well.
Cordyceps is literally the Last of Us. That is what.
That is what they are.
Yeah, it's cordyceps virus,
Yeah.
which is cool. It's based on a real thing.
Yeah.
You could almost
That's all I
do-
know.
Yeah.
You could almost make it a coronavirus type game, and I know it's so fucking
But I
cliche
think
to
so
make it.
too.
but
Now with the recency,
yeah.
I agree.
Like you could.
You
do,
could, but they just be zombies.
You could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I say we think of something a little bit.
The alien one.
We do,
like
yeah.
the
We can
falling
make
skies.
it exactly.
Yeah,
we can
that's-
make something like that. A meteor crashes, some kind of
Brings
single
new life
cell,
or-
yeah,
yeah.
some kind of single cell metamucite kind of thing, some like organic tissue, and it talks via a hive mind, you know,
Almost
and-
like a venom kind of thing.
right.
Yeah.
So like exactly.
Oh,
Anyone that touches this, that
Boom, and
that,
now
or-
you're
that
all
organic
linked.
growth.
So
exactly,
like you're fighting
is
all these
inside of it.
thousands, but it's just one
Have
mind
you
that
seen
you're
the
fighting.
episode of
Right.
Rick and Morty where they
Exactly.
do the hive mind?
Yes,
that
yes.
Would be,
Where
Yeah.
he dates a like hive mind parasite.
yeah,
Yeah.
That would be a pretty good survival.
That's what I'm
horror
saying.
enemy.
I think so too.
Now, but
Because
the people that we're fighting, I don't say these are soldiers. I wouldn't. Let's make them. They should be essentially brain dead because they're all connected to one thing, all reacting on primal instincts. They're learning about us as much as we are learning about them. Right? They need to figure out how to survive and adapt in this environment. So they're not going to be speaking and talking. They're going to move more primally, things like that.
What if they get more difficult to react to like later on in the game?
Yeah,
like
'cause
they're
they grow.
actively getting better and
Yeah.
learning you and like your.
yeah, so
They
an
grow.
adaptive hive.
I say boss fights could be like. Okay, hold on. See, now we're going somewhere. You guys ever see the movie The Thing? Tommy, what are you whispering about back there?
Tommy.
He's back there fucking whispering. He thinks something's funny.
I've seen the thing. These motherfuckers.
What is the thing?
Fucking watch
I haven't
that.
seen the thing.
Are we talking about the thing as in like the?
Listen,
the
you never
horror
seen the movie The Thing, the horror movie? There was an '80s, and then they remade
Yeah.
it in 2011, but it was
Yes.
technically a prequel when they remade it.
Yes,
Never seen
I
The Thing.
saw it a long
All
time
right.
ago.
Well, this thing adapts to its environment by now. It's not going to be exactly what we're doing for the game, but it digests something and then it can replicate it. But it can only replicate organic tissue. It's all massive paranoia. Who's the alien? Because it looks like a fucking alien, and then it eats a human for the first time. It sheds all that dead organic material, and then what comes out of its mouth is a human, but it is that thing. And now it can infect
feel like-
other humans, and then learn and adapt from them.
I feel
So
like Rick and Morty has done so many horror spin-offs that it's unbelievable.
yeah, they get a lot of
Like
inspiration
where
from
they
other
do
things.
the one where this is a little off topic, but
I don't
the
know
one,
why they did it. Births out of that.
Birds out of the anus.
But the one they did where it was sort of the same sense, but every time there was a memory, those came into it. You know what I'm talking about? The episode where like every time there was a new memory
and the
made,
whole house like gets
Yeah.
filled with all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Go
And they
bonkers on
can't-
each
Yeah,
other.
parasites that live
Yeah.
off of and they can take the form of fake memories. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, Rick and Morty is it's written very, very well. Like the plot lines of those episodes are fucking great. All right,
back to the thing.
So
Sorry,
we can
it's-
do something like that, right? Whereas these things can, because once again, this is a hive mind. So one of the things that the enemy in the thing could do, it could mold with other organic tissue that it's created. So it'll like melt and mold to it, right?
creating
Something
monsters
fucking
or whatever, yeah.
that we could do that. So boss fights would be 10 20 humans molded together into some fucking thing, right? Yeah.
I'd
There we
love to
go.
see like wild animal packs roaming around too, and now like they're trying to fuck you up too.
and they're part of the hive as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And I say we do new post-apocalyptic. This is new, and the world will adapt and change as things happen. Maybe the game takes place over the course of a year. The game is done in seasons. The Last of Us is like that. Both of them are. So we'll say the game starts with like the infections first started. And like I said, there will be I guess kind of the point of this game is that there's no one else living. For all you know as much as the character knows, and you know that there's no other humans, right? So we're not going to do like an intro to the game where there would be like he's talking to other NPCs and some cataclysmic event happens. The game will just start where you're in the woods making a campfire, like you know as much as he knows, right? And it says like 2 weeks post invasion, and that's kind of where the game would start, right?
And then the first mission is you kind of
You make a fire, like survive.
You're making fire, but we have to introduce the enemy into the game within the first, I feel like,
Yeah, we would.
5 to 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, you maybe go into a house, find some food.
Should their eyes, this is cliche as well, should their eyes all look the same so we know they're part of the same hive?
Yeah,
Like,
dead. Like their
yeah,
eye, they wouldn't
giveaway
have
or
color.
something like that.
Their
Like
eyes would just
they
be
kinda
white
glow
with
a
the
color
people.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if like one of the main points of the game, not to like ruin the story or anything, could be like you're trying to find the camp, the last
Where all the
civilization
survivors are
of-
supposed to go.
Yeah, and then
There we go.
when you roll up, like
That's
the
your
end
trek.
of the game, you finally get there and you've traveled all across however far, and then you find out either they're all gone or they're all dead.
And it
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
It changes. It shouldn't be game versus. Since it's a single player experience, it should be different for each person.
What do you mean?
A random generated last part of the game, last civilization part of the game. Because
How many different versions of that would you have?
I don't know. I mean, Minecraft has a random generator for their shit.
Jesus Christ! Now we're
How-
comparing Minecraft to
How
our
would you
survival horror
what,
video game.
No,
like-
but what I'm saying is it would be so easy to just wait till a certain point that people have started to put gameplay up, and now you know exactly where the end's at. Why don't we make it so fucking random that you don't know where the end's at? So you are literally,
That it's going to be different.
it's going to change per person. So you could say, oh, I was in Hobo City when I ended, or no, I was in Planet Town.
We'll take some liberties because this game is imaginary. We'll take liberties. Let's say we're a real publisher, like we'd send that idea right out the fucking window. And the reason is because of completionists. They would hate that shit. People would not buy your game if they knew that there was no way for them to complete it. That
There is a way to complete it. You just have to find it.
You have to get lucky and get all 20 endings randomly.
No. The last, like he's saying, the last civilization changes per person's login to the game. So there's not 400 different ones. It's just specific to yours. Just like if you create like a seed on Minecraft, you can create one.
It's going to be the same
that's
ending, different locations, or
yeah.
like the same like end screen, but different ways of getting to it.
Yeah, and it's not like it's in Germantown every single time,
Right.
Because then you can learn the map and know exactly where Germantown's at.
Okay.
No, you have to find it based off of the clues that are given. It is where you find the ending civilization. Not you have like 20 separate locations.
Right.
It's like when you log into the game, your spot to end in has been decided, and that is only your spot. Of course, other people will probably get somewhat near the same spot, but it's your spot. That way, it adds a difference to the game. So you can't log in into the YouTubes and find a gameplay where somebody is walking you through to where it's at.
I feel like stealth has got to be such a big part of the game too, because if they are all a hive mind, as soon as you attack one, boom, we all know where you are. We all know where you are. You know.
And the hiding aspect would be tough.
Mm-hmm.
So should we just change the way it's played then? Should we do a run and hide or should we do a combative? Because if we do a combative, it's going to be tough to fight because
Taking out combat's getting rid of a lot of what we
Make it
can
an
do with
option,
the
but
game.
make it like known that there are going to be times where you can't
it'll be
fight.
true survival
You're not
combat.
going to be able to fight all these.
Yeah, of course.
You
That's-
have to
that's
go
true survival horror,
stealthy
yes.
or run through them. So.
Yeah, everything that you scavenge, you
Yep.
need to fucking use.
Yep, and like
if
you
you've
said,
scavenged
appropriate
15,
amounts.
20 bullets, and you've been caught, and you now have to kill 5 of these in a house, have survival combat, you know? If you have melee weapons and health kits, and you don't want to make a lot of noise, then fucking kill them with a knife, with a bat, whatever.
I feel what you're saying. So, like, the combat could go, oh, you killed these 5 in a house. Yes, they know where you're at. You have to scavenge quickly and get gone, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
but you don't want to get attacked by a horde, because a
Yeah.
horde is you're dead almost every time.
Yeah. How do we do... I think a good, at least in my mind, save points. I feel like those are critical in a survival horror.
Yeah, save points will be when you make camp.
Okay.
There'll be campfires. So we'll take a book from like Soulsborne games, as far as because we did say we want it to be adaptive zone based, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so many checkpoints within this area unless you yourself want to physically use wood to make, which wood can be used to make other things in the game.
And it's loud to
Yeah,
get wood.
you're going to make a campfire, but do you want to save right now? Maybe you haven't seen a checkpoint for 2 fucking hours. You don't want to lose all that because there shouldn't be an autosave in this game. This game would also be for hardcore gamers. This game will never be sold to the casual crowd. You probably wouldn't
I'm
make
fine
an
with
insane amount of money off of it. But like I said, we're taking liberties here because it isn't real. So, but most publishers wouldn't.
But it
jump right
definitely
on board.
stops the game when you hit start or when you pause. That's the
Yeah,
only thing
of
that,
course.
like,
There's a real
Yeah.
pause mode.
Yeah.
But campfires and maybe 5 or 6 checkpoints. via zone base, and your map doesn't just show the whole area. Like most open world games nowadays, the map is clouded. What you discover, that's when the map starts opening up. The more you discover.
So does making camp pause the game too?
No, making camp saves the game.
I imagine like it makes it a safe area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making camp, I don't think you should be able to get attacked from your camp.
Unless, like, except, like, maybe 1 or 2 times throughout the game, like, secret surprise, you know, your camp's fucking busted up, now you gotta run, because your camp gets stumbled upon by a horde, or something similar like that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I think
This is an interesting
I
game,
think
man.
what you could also do is, like, if you want to make camp and you're going to, like, gather supplies to go back out, it'd be cool to randomly have, like you said, a horde come, and they've noticed the fire. And they're like standing around it, waiting for you to come back to your fire, and then like you could see them, and then take off running the other way. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a pretty cool aspect. That would be that would randomly happen.
I think so
in the game.
too. And
That's
like
just
you get the option. Like, do you want to go balls to the wall and try to kill them all and probably die?
I think since there's such a hard enemy to fight, a hive mind is such a hard enemy to fight. I mean, we could probably all agree on that.
It's got to be
That they can-
headshots to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta destroy the brain.
But they could drop stuff as well, useful stuff. I think they need to
I
drop.
mean, they're
things.
people with normal inventories, like
Yeah.
the same, just normal people walking
Should we-
around. Like you would have military personnel too with potential weapons, like extra
Should we
weapons.
base it?
Well,
based
that's
off
what I'm
of
saying.
they're
I'm saying
wearing?
we'd have to make sure.
Is what they can carry.
Are we making them soldiers, or are we making them more primal? Because they shouldn't know how to use weapons.
Right, they just have just random stuff on their body. Like,
Yeah,
I was talking
okay,
about
because they were previously-
he has a carrier.
I see
on
what you're
him,
saying,
you know,
yeah.
or a holster with a
Yeah.
pistol in it.
But with it being adaptive, here's where you could run into trouble. Your combat style, whether you choose to take it or not, since it's adaptive, they
used
can
to
pick
that.
up to it. So you start running and gunning, you start shooting people. They can pick up on how to use a gun because they are a hive mind. So yeah, the ones you killed around don't know how to
they're
use
learning.
it, but the ones
Yeah, if it's supposed to adapt.
the ones that are learning it from a separate location are now learning how to shoot guns.
I
So-
think the adaptive part is huge.
Yeah,
for
the
game,
adaptive
too.
part.
Yeah, that
really-
should be like the main selling point of the game, is that the world adapts to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a strong,
think
because
so,
you can
too.
work with that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with it being a survivalist horror game.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very strong.
It's just got to be tough, like the narrative to get you to this place, because it's not like you're going to be going and clearing whole areas. What's the point of that if you're the only person alive? You're not trying to rebuild civilization or society. Like, you're going to
Nah.
understand that, like,
Should
you just got to live. You're not going to beat
You're
all these
just
guys.
living,
You're not
yeah.
going to kill the whole planet.
should we make it where you have to get a certain
Oh, and is there one big, like, hive entity?
to
You know,
finish
like
off the game?
The whatever. The
Oh, there's gotta be a
original
final
piece that
boss,
came
yeah.
off the
Yeah, a
meteorite.
final
that-
boss. Yeah. But what if? I don't know. This seems cheesy. Just to make it even harder, and also so there is a drive to push for the end of the game besides beating the game and fighting the boss. No, I feel like that's too cheesy. Like, I want to say collecting shit in order to get access to the final part, but I feel like that's just too cheesy.
I like
And-
games
and-
that. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
and you can like pick up like lore, like reading. I feel like survival horror, a big part of it is you have to read stuff to understand the game.
Yeah, only you
So-
know what your character knows. We'll do it like that.
So picking up stuff in this big town, you start to figure out where that specific component is that you need to collect to get to the end of the game. It's part of you being able to get to the end of the game when you find it. You know what I'm
Maybe
saying?
You break into like an optional lab area or something like that where you can learn about it, and like if you did all the extra stuff, you got the collectibles, you did the side shit, then when you could find an alternate way to beat the game and like save people, instead of when you just kill the hive mind, you kill everyone. And now congratulations, like you did it, you exterminated it, but you're the last person on Earth. So like you're fucked.
Yeah.
So really you have to collect everything in order to really save
So
everyone.
you're saying
I like games
You're
like that. Like
saying
the
you
original
can-
Jack and Dexter was like that. You had to get all the precursor orbs.
So
and
you're
that kind of
saying you
stuff.
can go. There's two routes to an ending of a game you want. One is you
For the normies.
You go through, you run through, and then you find the final part and you fight the boss like any other normal game. The second option is like a Dishonored type style, where you can choose, if you choose to be super aggressive, then it kind of changes the end of the game because you've infected the rest of the world. But if you choose to take your time in these towns and areas where you have to find this collectible, then learning this collectible now gives you the option to save humanity instead of just kill it off by killing the main hive mind. Would it be cool to also have a diary of sorts that you can type in, so you have to remember stuff that you did? So you have to take notes from what you did instead of just keeping...
the player will just keep a diary. A lot of survival horror games have that. Either they have an inner monologue that's kept as a diary
but I don't
game
want
or
it
a
to
journal.
automatically generate that diary. I want it to be you type it, you remember.
Then it's got to be like you.
I think we should give
to a
all
diary
players a
screen
journal or a journal.
A journal.
We give all players a journal, but what's written in that journal is based on how they play.
Yeah. I can respect that.
Because the game's going to be adaptive zone based, and I think we should travel across the country. I think the game should take place in like 4 or 5 different states with time gaps in between when you get to a new area. So there will be seasons involved in this as well. There should be a winter, summer, spring, things like that. The enemies will adapt to their surroundings. In winter, they will be different. In spring, they will act different.
We should pick a select 4 states that have a wildly different climate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Temperament.
That's what
so with the Midwest, I mean, you have the chance of tornadoes. With you go north, you have a harsh winter. So you have to. I feel like the states we choose, I want them to all connect or touch, but I feel like it needs to be a very, very
diverse kind of
diverse is what I'm looking for. Diverse environment as to where the weather generated can really affect your gameplay. So if it rains, now your fire's out. You don't have a save point. Your fire's out. You don't have a save point. So now you have to go either find one or build another one when it stops raining. Now the wood's wet. What do you have to do to try and get the wood dry?
Build an overhang too, so stuff doesn't get rained on.
And you don't want to go too in depth with camp because then you might get found out by the hive. So, and then they could find you very quickly, and now you have to break camp and run. And also, with the inventory management, you might have to break camp and leave shit that you need. And come back to it at a different time. That's going to create a
strong incentive for people to come back, though, because, especially with the survival horror games, there are unique items, and it would suck if, it was only here, and you have to go back to that camp to get it. That would create an incentive for you to just man up and, have to either fight or just sprint in there and try to grab whatever it is.
Yeah, or you wait for them to clear out, and then you just go back and grab it at a later time. You run through something else, and then, ever so often go check, see if they're still there. If they are, then go back to what you're doing.
It's got to be engaging, or maybe the person's got to have another voice or something, be it a loved one that passed away or something that pushes them on. There's got to be, it can't just, for me, one person just going and doing all this stuff is going to get old without some other influence on them, to keep them going. Be it that they find a family member or something traumatic like
at
that.
At the end of the game, or you're
something.
Since you're the only one left, it will give you sort of the push. Your family's still alive in all technicality, but it gives you the push to want to get these collectibles because you want to save them.
Yeah, maybe you're having dreams when you go to sleep at night or something. Some other force is literally hey, you have to kill this, or your species is eradicated.
Yeah. I think that would add a different drive to the game if you want to keep, because that would also be
the quest to save humanity.
Yeah.
Because if you destroy the hive mind itself, then you cut that, you sever that connection.
That would also help completionists too.
Yeah.
Because you could run into your family members at any time, or you could run into people you have connections with or have gained connections with over time. And for completionists, it's to keep those specific ones alive. So say you have 2-3 family members mixed in with this group of 10, you have to come and they are engaging in combat. You have to now focus on keeping them alive, so you get a specific unlock at the end of the game to get the completionist. I think that'd be pretty cool to add in. So it makes you, because then at that point you're really running into trouble, because you're keeping 2 or 3 people out of a group of 10 alive. They still know where you're at. Everybody knows exactly where you're at. So you have to now lose away. Them. Yeah. You have to run away and lose them without getting found by these other ones, which is tough.
I wonder if you could create little pens and pin them up, and then just leave those 3 bodies there where they can't get out.
I feel like you should be able. I mean, it sucks, but you would have to be able, with it being a hive, you would have to be able to create smoke grenades or something. Because other than that, if you're getting chased by Hive, then they can just send more over to you, and then you're complete.
Like no matter what,
found.
exactly, they'll just pull resources from different areas and start just circling you in.
And then you have to set up traps. You can set up traps like non-lethal traps and lethal traps, so that you can knock back the ones that are chasing you, and you have to memorize where you left those traps, so you don't trip them off, but they will, because they don't know it's there. But with the adaptability,
once they
start to learn what those traps are going to look like and where they're going to be. So you have to be very creative with where you start putting them. It can start out being very general where you put them, and they're easy to see for you, but hard and honestly
they don't
easy to
know.
see for
Yeah,
them,
you
but
put
they
it right
don't
in the
know.
middle of the road.
But as the game progresses, they start figuring it out, and they learn to dodge this or they learn to dodge that to get out of the way of it.
I like that.
So,
Alone.
So plot wise, I mean, I'm pretty sure we came up with the plot. It's
We said the plot.
we came up with plot, in game enemies. Shit.
It's a
Obviously.
survival horror. There's no level system. There's
Graphics.
no perks and
No, I don't think. That would.
abilities.
I don't think we should make a skill tree or anything like that, because that's more RPG. We don't want to do that.
What about? I mean, graphics wise, with both entries of the game that we've made, we want it to look great.
Graphics wise, yes. One thing that maybe it might not fit the greatest into this game because it's like you're solo. But man, I want a feature in a game, and if we're just gonna talk about random games that we would make, I would fucking put this feature in there that you can make your own name, and then they actually narrate the name. The voice technology is there now, where we don't have to pick a fucking preset name, and you keep that if you want it to be said.
Yeah, I
if
don't think
not,
you should
they're
ever
like
see your player's
the
face.
hero. Good job, champ. I want them to say, like, good job, dick boy, if that's what I put in there.
Cool.
Like, I
And then-
want them
oh my
to
God.
say whatever I make my name as.
You could add that into the game, and then the Hive can learn your name over time.
Yeah, like you should be faceless. You shouldn't create your character at all.
No.
You just are your character. All you have are hands. You can select male, female. You can select your race. This will change the build of your hands, and that's it. Your hands, your feet is really all you're going to see.
I like the NBA 2K did like a face scan thing too, where you
Yeah.
could scan. Like,
EA
on
does, yeah.
I
yeah,
like
EA
that.
and 2K do
I
face
want
scans.
that in more games. You really create your own you. You create yourself as the main character. I think that's awesome. I really do. I think that should be a bigger part of gaming.
Then you
And
just
it's
take a
not.
picture of your butt cheeks.
Yeah, exactly. There was one
Yeah,
dude
you
who
just
had a
have ass
blunt in his
face.
mouth. So like his dude was on the
You
court
just
and
have
had a
ass
blunt in his
face.
mouth.
That's hilarious.
Literally
So
create
dope.
Assy McGee.
Yeah. Googling eyes on your butt. A little mustache over. All right, we're done.
God, yeah. That would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, alone,
Alone.
hive mind, or just alone?
No, you just call it alone.
Alone.
It's the best way to do it. The enemies could be called the hive. I don't believe they should all live in a hive together. That's not how we'll do it.
No.
They're like actively searching, I would imagine, because they
they're
know
everywhere.
of your presence, and now like
Are we
every time
doing
you
at
run
the
into
start
them,
of the game, everybody is already infected besides you?
Yeah. Like
could you
I said,
see it
you start at a
evolve?
campfire, and it says like 2 weeks post invasion. Like you
so
just
maybe
start
like
like
a little
that.
backstory and.
It'll tell you like it's gonna bring a black screen, and it's have a narrator that reads it out loud. I think it's important to have a voice narrator that you shouldn't just read it yourself. Survival horror games, when they actually have a narrator for certain parts, or that shit's
Narrator,
actually really
big.
good for atmosphere.
Yeah.
So just a deep, serious voice that says like in the year whatever.
Part of the collectible thing, I think, should be when you get to these certain areas, they can either be critical to the story or non-critical, but the critical parts do have. I want to say like pieces to a map almost. So the game generates the pieces that you need, how many ever you need. It will change per person, and it just shows you a picture of a map of wherever that area is that directs you to where the end of the game is. So that means you might have to collect 6 pieces to end up in Utah. And that's your end of the game. Or I have to collect 8 pieces in these critical areas to then figure out where my end of the game is. Maybe I'm in Kansas. I think it would be cool to have that, because now you can just go.
So how many different environments would you have to create to do that if you're
You don't
going to
have-
have random areas where the game ends?
Well, you wouldn't have to create different environments. It would be all the same environment. It's just different endpoints on the game in those specific areas.
Blake brought up VR.
Yeah, VR would. You could VR.
Yeah,
this
you
game.
could VR that. You could VR this game. Definitely, it's first person.
Yeah, it's first person. You could VR the shit out of this.
Most first person
Ooh.
survival games.
Hearing them
or
call
VR.
your name
In
and
VR.
like you're in
VR.
VR. You're alone in your home. And
Now I want you to
hear
understand
something
something.
in the
This would
back.
mean that we would have to get voice actors to pre-record every single name that's ever been said ever over the course of 10 hours a day
Well,
every day
it's-
for like 2 weeks. They have
it's
to
also
record
like-
that name, and then it would have to be in the coding. That's
the
massive.
technology
Those
is
files
there
would be massive.
to have computers read off names now. Like that voice
So, all
technology,
right.
it was not
So
there.
we
It's not a
wouldn't
normal
have-
thing.
So you have
10 years ago.
Microsoft Sam.
It's
Yeah.
there now.
So
Get it.
so what you're saying
Austin.
is
That's like where it was, but it's really
Siri.
there now.
Yeah.
Where
Versailles.
like, you can make robots say your name in different voices.
yeah.
Have you
okay.
seen like the
so then
deepfake
we wouldn't
stuff that
have
they
voice
have?
actors. No, I have. Have you seen
Yeah,
the
like
Eminem
no, it's so
deepfake?
serious. Like
Where a fucking where a literal like a robot, he sings the fucking wow, I'm actually
was it the Rap God verse or
no the 8 Mile song. Wow, why am I fucking
just
Lose Yourself. Yeah. He does Lose Yourself. He sounds just like him. It's a robot though. Like they've typed in all the words and the robot says it, and he does it exactly like it's kind of
And
wild.
the
He sounds
voice-
just like Eminem.
Remaking technology. Have you heard
Yeah.
of that? Where,
So
like, they
so what I'm
remake
asking
old
is that we
people-
haven't
people's
answered yet.
voices?
Do we have voice actors for the game? No. You would say that we wouldn't then.
No, just
we don't need
generic like pain sounds or like animal sounds or.
We would have a
footsteps
narrator. The enemies wouldn't speak. I don't think they should speak. They should say your name. They should say certain command phrases that they've picked up over time.
It would be a very eerie, like
Yeah,
not
I
even
agree.
humanish.
no,
kinda,
a very like
almost
odd
alien-like.
monotone sound. Yeah.
They've only learned to say your name based off of. How would they learn your name actually?
Well, here's the thing. They're going to speak telepathically to one another. And I feel like that these wavelengths, these frequencies, should be able to be picked up by you. So you're talking about dreams
Yes.
and shit like that? We could expand
Yes,
upon that. When you're
that's-
asleep, you can, like, sometimes you might have flashes of
You
seeing
might
where
have
groups
little
of them
missions
are.
You gotta do
Yeah.
too in your sleep.
Yeah, you might hear them talking while you're in your sleep, and you wake up and you can't hear them anymore. So, yeah. We'll incorporate shit like that because the game's being made right now.
Exactly, it's deep in development.
Yeah, it's actually coming out tomorrow.
We lied at the beginning of this episode. We already had this.
We
whole
wanted this
thing.
game's coming out tomorrow, only on SNES.
And Stadia.
Game
Yeah.
Boy.
It's only it's coming on. Yeah, it's only on Stadia at 480 at 10 frames.
Yeah.
And it's an armor game.
It's just polygons. It's just polygons on a screen.
It's actually mini clip. We're putting it on mini
Oh
clip.
my, that's the biggest throwback.
A
I can't
2D
beat
side
that.
scroller, story-driven game.
What was the one game we played? The Line Runner. What was that on?
I want to say that was either its own website or it was on Armor Games.
No,
it
it
might
was
have been
on
on Mini Clip
Congregate.
too. Congregate, yeah,
That's
for
what it
sure.
was.
Remember
Congregate
Congregate?
was
You guys remember Newgrounds?
a big one. Yeah,
Crazy Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
All those random ass websites to play
Great
games on.
Dungeon in the Sky.
E-Bomb.
Those
World.
games are those days are over though.
I know.
Just
It was
I
a
go
good-
back and play
good
Great
part of
Dungeon in the
internet.
Sky every now and then just for fun.
My lord, spank the monkey.
Always
What a
pick the
stupid
chicken.
game.
The chicken is.
You know what game was really, really fun back when we were in high school? Then they made it into a mobile app, and then the game resurged because of COVID was pandemic. Do you guys remember the game
Oh yes,
Pandemic?
the very
Where
first
you- yeah,
time you
the
played the
very
virus
first-
game and you
yeah.
actually spread around, dude, that was phenomenal back
Yeah.
in the day.
That was only available
Mm-hmm.
on certain websites. Then they ported it for mobile, and then when COVID-19 happened,
Just
when
blew
lockdown
up.
happened, the game blew up.
Same game that
same
we
exact
played.
game we
the
played
same
years and
game
years
we
ago.
played was not that popular, and you're right, it did blow up.
It blew up again.
Rightfully so, though. It's a fun
Yeah,
game.
because it was called Pandemic.
It's a fun game.
And
There are
it
a
was
couple
it
games
was
like
really
that
good,
that
dude.
have good.
It
Like,
was impossible to infect Madagascar unless you started in Madagascar. But if you started in Madagascar, it was very hard to spread because they locked down their borders like immediately. You got to be so smart about it. There's a lot of strategies to that game. It was very hard to beat.
It's true. I wasted a lot of time playing that game.
I did too. Always name my virus something big, stupid.
Oh, same.
And I would read the news and be like, nuts is infecting everyone.
Why I want the voice technology to say
Yeah.
my fucking name. When I make all my characters that I ever make, if you ever
Yeah.
see me in a game, it's always a stupid name. Not a single time
That
have
is
I
true.
ever
It
made
really
a
has
serious
always
name.
been.
It's always like cocknuts.
Your names are always stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
Your guild
Just
trader,
dumb.
like your guy, who was it? Like the dude who like traded items in the guild was called the If You Suck Man.
Oh yeah. I was like Ligma was one. Ralph Gustav was one. Big Ralph Gustav. Why? Like what? This is just dumb, made up names.
Yep.
Um,
Don Frico.
Sukondese.
Yep.
Sukondese. Sukondese. Yeah, just
Pringle
dumb
Berry?
names. Never something serious. And I want video games
That
to
was
catch
yours.
up and give me that little
Yours always
giddy,
hit on
like
Pringle Berry.
childish moment of hearing
Yeah, I know.
hearing them saying like a very serious voice,
Fat
like something
nuts.
is, you
Like,
know, our savior, big balls.
Yeah, yeah,
And everyone goes wild, starts clapping, and like they love you.
yep.
And it would be even funnier maybe if like they could pick up on that, like this is a stupid name, and like you get some like background dialogue about who names their kid that, you know, something dumb.
Tommy, quit yawning back there.
That's it. That's the game.
Tommy, quit
I think,
fucking yawning
we made
back
it
there.
alone.
Alone. That's a solid ass game too.
It is.
It definitely developed.
It'll be
as we
stolen
kept
though.
going.
These ideas will
We
be,
made it.
they'll all be stolen. We put them on the internet. They'll all be
Exactly.
stolen.
We were literally seeing Alone come up in like 2-3 months. It's our game.
Yeah. There might be a game already titled Alone, but that's.
I believe there is.
There- I'm
to be
sure
honest
there
with
is.
you.
There's definitely a game title. Alone.
There's a survival horror game called Alone in the Dark. So, and I think they made a movie about it too.
Damn.
Well-
That's years old. That was a long time ago, and the game didn't do very well.
I guess we'll shut it down there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
we're gonna
game.
shut it down.
Alone. If you ain't
Shut
getting
it down
good,
for this week.
then you better get